Welcome to the Deadman Spring Final Rerun 2019. We have a very exciting evening ahead of us and 256 players currently preparing to compete for the $32,000 prize pool. But before we get into all the action, let's take a look at the last final and see why we're here today.
The Deadman Spring Finals were held in March 2019. If you're unfamiliar with Deadman events, here's a breakdown. Firstly, there's a qualifying season in which anybody can compete. Once the season ends, we invite the top 2,000 to compete in the finals. This is a week-long event in which the players build up their accounts from scratch for an epic finish with $32,000 in prize money. The finals ends with our broadcast. We watch on as the top players battle it out whilst avoiding the lethal fog which is filling the map. The players are pushed into two separate final areas to fight a frantic battle for survival. The players who are left are teleported to a vast arena where they'll have to fight in a series of 1v1 rounds, leaving just the champion standing. There are lots of prizes up for grabs, with 16 players guaranteed to walk away with something. First place gets $20,000, second place gets $10,000, third and fourth get $1,000 each, and the rest of the top 16 get 1 year free membership. That's an introduction to Deadman. Now it's time to reflect on what happened during the spring finals. The tournament itself was as dramatic as ever, with teams Fools and Blazers holding down a pivotal point in the game, helping them to rise above their competition. As the finals were heating up, we saw huge teams clash in the two final areas, Anakarl and Falador. Falador was the first to see the survivors teleported to the 1v1 arenas, but unfortunately an error with the arena mapping led to a large number of these players being killed. We proceeded with the rest of the tournament, with the Anakarl survivors meeting the few lucky players from the Falador area. It still made for an intense finish, with Manked finishing as runner-up and Eomeri claiming victory for Fools, taking home the $20,000. We're committed to our players, and to make amends for the issue that killed a large number of our surviving players, we've decided to rerun the finals. The final 256 players from the spring finals have been re-invited to fight again for a share of $32,000.
Welcome back. I'm Nightinator and I'll be your host for this evening, and joining me for this event I have two phenomenal casters with a wealth of knowledge in PvP. One of these faces you'll be very familiar with. He has casted many a tournament and before, and he's going to bring in his knowledge today. It's Ian, aka Pure Spam.
Good day. Hello, everyone.
And alongside Ian, I also have the honour of introducing a brand new caster today. However, he has had lots to do with Deadman before. You've been in the Deadman Mode Mansions and you've been creating PvP content for RuneScape for a long time. It is Rexy.
How's it going, guys? It's an honour to be here.
But before we get into the tournament, we're just going to do a quick rundown of what's going to happen. So we have 256 spaces available, 193 people online at the moment, and we're going to be going into the 1v1s very soon, straight into the permadeath section. We're going to be doing 8 rounds, and it's going to go right down until we reach the final. There's $32,000 on the line tonight, and the accounts are going to be geared according to how they were in the last tournament. However, they have had 3 hours to prepare today, and that means they can do trading, banking, and all questing, all non-PvP related things. So with that in mind, Rexy, how would you prepare today?
To be honest with you, if I was playing in this tournament, it'd be a case of I'd be trying to polish off all of the quests, which I hadn't done. Specifically, trying to get myself piety, which I know is a bit controversial right now. There's a few things that have gone down on Twitter, so yeah. And aside from that, I'd probably spend those 3 hours trying to farm out some PvP weapons in the wilderness, or maybe even go to God Wars and just try to get myself some last-minute OP items.
Absolutely. So, last tournament, there was an absolute lockdown on Shiloh Village, which I know you knew a lot about, Ian. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So usually most demo tournaments, I do play up until the finals. Of course, I can't participate in the final because I'm here casting for everyone. But I just like to play because I'm a massive demo mode nerd. I love PvP. I've got a lot of friends that play as well. And I think it's important as well that I've got the experience to talk about what's happened in the week. So last time round, we had a Fools and Blazers alliance, two of the big teams in Deadman mode. Quite rightfully, they actually, like you said before, locked down Shiloh Village Cave, which is a multi-combat area. Yeah. So anyone trying to get in was instantly annihilated. I was part of that force staying there.
Super smart.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pretty much a whole week's trip. It was 168 hours they had it locked down for. So not a single other opponent was able to actually finish Piety during that time. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. When we slept every night, went to bed, had the phone next to us on Discord with like alerts set. So they got to, there was an amber alert or an orange alert, or it was black alert, get in, log in online right now, we're being hit. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, really interesting strategy to try and make sure you get that advantage. And as you said, there's some sleep. You don't normally get too much sleep during most demo mode
No,
tournaments
absolutely not.
at all. However, before today, obviously, there's been a lot of time to think about your strategy, think about what you're going to do. So hopefully, they're going to be bringing their A game today. What are you expecting people to do?
Well, of course, like I said before, quite notably, piety is something that a lot of the different teams are going to be wanting to complete within this 3 hours time zone. Also, I guess, like I said before, God Wars Dungeon or any of those really overpowered drops you can get, a lot of those drop rates have been increased for demo mode, so they're 1/4 of the drop rate. So I imagine a few teams, I think Manked, for example, the previous second place champion, he was doing DKs to try and get himself the Sears ring, I think. Your strategy, you said before, would be going deep wilderness as well to try and put a cannon somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Kill the little low-level spiders, maybe get lucky with a VLS, because it gives you such an advantage, doesn't it?
Dude, I'd either put a cannon in Scorpion, kill all the little level 2 Scorpions, or straight on the Sapphire Mountain, if you know what I'm talking about, where there's loads of spiders around. 100%. And you got 3 hours, I'm sure you could get something.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's a lot of time. So talking about those drop rates being increased, are there any items, Rexy, that you're hoping to see today?
Oh, there is. Yeah. So I'm a huge fan. Morgan javelins. Always loved them back in the PvP days. They're just not used. Like, nobody uses them. I'd love to see them. I want to see someone throwing some javelins, getting some extra damage in. But, like, where are they? But it's because we got the VLS.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's better alternatives. But, yeah, if I could wish for anything, some javelins for sure.
Absolutely. Anything you're hoping to see?
Well, last time round we saw the Fool's leader himself, Eo Merry, taking it home for the Finnish Warriors. All that money going to be put towards probably a cruise with all the boys, which is what they usually do in their summers. I think we're going to see a few more Armadyl pieces coming in, which usually is quite hard to lock down in demo mode since there's only one world you can go to, and the huge clans do contest for it. So I expect in these last 3 hours people have been trying to get the God Wars Dungeon armors.
I would love to see the amount of people go into God Wars and just rushing that.
It'd be a mass right now. Like, seriously, it has to be a mass. I wish we could see, like, the last 3 hours. I bet it's a fiesta, to be honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you mentioned some Fools members. Are there any notable people that are going to be playing today that you know of?
Yeah, so content creators wise, we had Skillspecs on stage last time round. He is also playing again, although he's playing from Australia since he recently moved. So the ping might be a bit of an issue for him being so far away.
Yeah.
But he should have fun. We also have Solo Mission, who is in Blazers 2, made quite a few videos last time round. He's excited to be here. Manked, who's probably streaming right now. You know, all these are content creators. If they're live, go show them some love too. Let them know that we sent you. You can see their personal perspectives as well. We'll be following all the action, of course, though, throughout the 1 vs 1 rerun. Who else do we have? The Emery, the leader again, that won last time. He'll be putting up a fight. Falls Kembo, the notorious hybrid Inya, who is representing Frontline, who's done very well in the past and quite notably one of the best, most accomplished NH tribrids in the game. So we've got a lot of big names. Spark Mac even as well, with the tribe behind his back, trying to win some for the boys. So it should be a really interesting one.
And Alfie as well. And like something very interesting that you just said, like, the difference with this tournament compared to the other ones is clearly the fact that nobody's been sweating 12, 16 hours a day for the last 7 days. Do you know what I mean? So everybody's fresh going into this, everybody's ready, and everybody's at home. So like there's no pressure from on the stage or whatever. So everybody, like if I had to put my money on the most competitive, high skill cap tournament, I would say this will be the one, just because everybody's fresh.
I mean, these past 3 hours, people have been kitting up their most notorious hybrids, the ones that really have shown over the years that they are most accomplished and the most skilled, and therefore feeding those players gives the clans the best chance of making it through to the end. Although saying that, there's a few solo players that somehow managed to get through to the final 1v1s. Those players in particular, if they can beat someone in better gear than them, they can then pick up those items. Even if Sparrows doesn't degrade, DFS is still going to be charged, and they get themselves the actual edge they need to potentially go all the way till the end. It's anybody's game really, which is what makes it so exciting.
Like the skill is going to be, that's going to throw them through this, because you're through the multi-zone already, which means that is out the way. Some of that pressure's taken off, but you do need to perform now, and you need to perform well.
There's no excuses. Usually we see the clans being like, oh, I was put on the snipe list, I was taken out in the multi-stage. a lot of the single PKs don't really like the multi-stage of DMM, but of course it is an MMO, so it's an important part of the game as well. But now, no excuses, you know, everyone's at home, they come from their home in their pajamas, got a cup of tea next to them, and I mean, best of luck to all the participants. Like I said before, it's anyone's game.
Absolutely. So we've got $32,000 on the line, and we have 193 players ready to get going. Between each round, they're going to be able to re-gear from their bank, and it's going to be a phenomenal show. So I'm going to hand over in just a moment to Rexy and Ian, who are going to lead you through these rounds, cutting down these players. And once again, if you die, that's it. You're out. Your chance is over. So best of luck to everyone involved. And if we're ready, then we're going to go into round one. Potentially.
or a couple more minutes.
Or maybe not.
In a few minutes, but before.
So before that happens.
Before that, okay. We have 3 minutes, so let's talk about your predictions. Who's got your money?
So, my money, excuse me.
Your metaphorical money.
I'm not putting up prize money, am I?
Metaphorical money.
So last time round, obviously, we had Foolsy and Merry, the leader himself, taking it home for the champions, the Finnish Warriors. And he's decided to go for the tank setup, I believe, last time. Had Vengeance, had Armadillo, full Armadillo, the VLS, the lot. I think fighting someone in tank gear like that is going to be very difficult. Although, I mean, players in the past have shown it's possible. Inya, quite notorious, like I said before, beating one of the tanks near the final stages. You really can't put it. I can't put a name out there because there's just so many fantastic hybrids and players that are competing for this.
If you had to choose between a clan member or a solo PKer winning, who would you want to win?
Well, I mean,
do you not want to say?
I'm sure Twitch will probably be like, oh, how dare you join the clans? Single players need to win. But like, honestly, a lot of the a lot of the clans have some of the best caliber PKers in the game because they've been playing for so many years now. Like, once you've been playing for that long, you kind of make friends in the wilderness and you join teams and you end up spending most of your time on TeamSpeak watching films outside of RuneScape as well and just hanging out all the time. So I imagine, there's a lot of them out there.
It requires a lot of skill to join
Definitely.
most of the clans out there, and the ones that go far in Deadman mode. I mean, trying to get into those clans. We were talking earlier about the things that you have to do, and some of them are a little bit intense.
Yeah, I mean, Blazers themselves have a presentation you got to go for. You know, a PowerPoint presentation you got to make yourself and hop into the TeamSpeak with like 50 other guys listening to you and judging you silently while you tell them your history.
Enjoy TBing for like the good part of a month. Back when I used to do PvP, it was like if you had no experience, they were just like TBs. Next month, you got to prove yourself, boy. And then once you prove yourself, they'd let you hybrid, you know. Yeah. But you had to split. So
yeah, I mean, I have had a few solo players messaging me though, in regards to saying I got lucky enough to, somehow evade all the clans in the multi-phase and I'm in it. But how far they get, I mean, these guys have literally sweated out for a week straight, haven't they, to get their max stats in the previous tournament. Yeah. So here's a second chance for all of them. No excuses this time as well, like I said before.
Talking about the previous tournament, what do you expect is going to be different in terms of the last one versus this one?
In terms of the 1v1 stage, well, because the save point they jumped into was a few hours before the 1v1 actually started, there will be quite a few players who weren't fed by their clan bank for whatever reason. Usually clans have like people doing herbal, for example, crafting or gathering items and trying to trade items, like trade up. For example, you've got a full barrow set, but you want the notorious VLS to puncture people's hearts out. So, to get those items, if those have been lost now from the people that aren't in the top 2, 5, 6, some of these clans are having to start out with bare minimal supplies. And these past 3 hours, it comes down to, are they lucky enough to, kill Ceradomin for the ACB or get lucky enough from, like you said, a wilderness monster to get the VLS. Yeah. I really don't know what to expect, really, and I guess we're going to be fed up a little bit of information as we go on, and we'll be able to give you guys more of a clue.
Well, it's going to be very exciting, and we are ready to jump into it. So we're going to go into round 1. I'm going to hand you over to our casters, and we'll see what happens.
Right, so jumping into it, we have Skillspecs himself. And I'm not too sure what he's changed up since last time, but he does have the Zuriel staff, and he's got an AGS.
He's got an AGS in his... Wait, hold up. Yeah, he's not went with the DH, sadly.
No,
a slight letdown, but the AGS is definitely making up for... Oh, he went straight in for the spec.
Unfortunately, no way, putting the premium up straight off the bat. And both these guys right now, actually... Jay, another spec. That was off prayer, but hitting a 0, unfortunately for him. No AGS 73 off the bat, unfortunately. No way, he's just a tank ranger. And look at his inventory compared to Jay's. Look how many brews Jay has to go through. Not only brews, but this guy's got 2 recalls on him as well, which does a little bit of damage too.
Yeah, there's a slight brew advantage on the rag tank there, I would say. Look at the black dragonhide shield. Oh my goodness. The Carol's Coif, 99 range. Let's just hope that Jay can actually pull off enough damage here. Because I'm not going to lie, with the gear that he's got, losing to that matchup, I would be absolutely tilted out of my mind. I mean,
he does have full Arims, and he does have the Zuriel staff as well, which does have a chance to, catch those freezes a bit easier. But no way with the full, the full Black D'hide, the Black D'hide shield, and the Carol's Coif, and the Snakeskin boots. There's a lot of magic defense. Jay needs to utilize the fact that he's got magic, step underneath, and try and fake out some switches so his opponent doesn't know what he's doing. Was that a
Morrigan throwing axe?
A Morrigan's throwing axe. It's not quite the javelin you were looking forward to.
No. What's the special attack on that, anyways? What does the throwing axe do?
So the special attack, I think, might do a little bit more damage, but it also reduces your opponent's run energy. Unfortunately, that's not going to make much of a difference for Skillspecs right now because it's a very small arena and he's not really running around too much. But again, just trying to catch that freeze as best he can, catches it. But he's also being poisoned by his opponent, who's using the Emerald Bolt's E, which They're the same as Myth Bolts, apart from the special attack, which can poison your opponents. So not really that armor penetrating as he'd probably like.
And he's already countered it because he already has, what's that, 5 or 6 Samfrus in his inventory. So like, he doesn't even have to worry. Jay's obviously repping the Diamond Bolts E, and he actually has a bolt switch. Have you seen what other bolts he has?
Not yet, but I imagine they might be Dragon. But I'm not too sure why he's got a bolt switch, actually. Maybe he's got a poison as well, to be honest, to try and do that little bit of damage over time. But with both players having Sand Fuse, it's not really going to do much. Jay currently has 30% spec, the AGS requiring 50. And if you notice as well, a little bit about mechanics here. There are 3 styles in old school RuneScape: range, mage, and melee. And the overhead prayers you see above the characters, basically what that does is it negates damage by 40, it reduces damage by 40%. So obviously getting that prayer right every time really helps mitigate the damage you're taking. But at the same time, a lot of skill comes into, trying to switch up constantly, get your opponents to play the wrong thing so you can maximize your DPS at the same time. And I tell you what, Jay's doing a great job of it.
He's doing a very good job. And it's also, look at his inventory. So he basically, look at his combat. He's level 117. He has good melee stats, all around decent stats. He doesn't have a good tick melee weapon. He doesn't have a whip. He literally just has the AGS for his melee weapon.
Yeah.
So that's quite a risk considering how rare the AGS will be in this tournament. On top of that, if he was put against, say, the guy just above back-to-back Flax, that guy clearly has a whip up there. That was definitely a bit of a risk to do that. He could have very easily lost his AGS, whereas instead of getting that, he could have traded the AGS for probably a whip and better gear overall.
Potentially. I would say that at the same time, Jay, by catching these freezes, what he needs to do is stand underneath again, because obviously the AGS, like you said, is quite a slow weapon. It's 6 tick, as opposed to the whip being 4 tick. So if he does catch this opponent, stand underneath, go for an AGS swing, and then wait. Obviously, his attack speed is going to be the same as opponents, so he needs to do that a bit more if he can do. Another thing to mention as well is, of course, the gear that Jay is wearing. He's going to robes and not switching to his tank gear enough, and even though he's got the right prayer on right there, range can really hit through armor, and not having that tank gear on at the right time is going to slowly dwindle away his supplies. But looking at inventories right now, look how many brews that No Way has drank. It looks like Jay is going to, hopefully, if he continues this way, for him, he's going to be able to secure this win off the bat and go through to the next round.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he is definitely holding his own. This is just more or less a very annoying fight. Thank God they resupply your brews after each fight, because oh my days. But
it's too many, isn't it? It's just too.
What are we watching right now, dude? Has he got a spec yet? No, he's on 30%.
No, he's on 30%, 50% for the spec for the AGS. I would say another thing as well, though, of course, like you said before, after every single round, they do get the inventories resupplied. But from this round onwards, they're going to be the same supplies: sharks, a couple brews, couple restores, range pots, super combat. So they're not going to go on quite as long as this one. And I tell you what, if Jay loses this fight, he is going to be smashing PCs and keyboards left and right. He's never going to live it down to his Twitch chat. He's got a lot of pride on the line, as do everyone. But this No Way, oh my God, what guy? He's only 95 combat. Jay's 117. So
hey, let's bear in mind though, because Jay's on that Australian ping right now.
That's the excuse, is it?
Yeah, that's it. If Jay's caught, he needs to win this. He cannot lose this fight. This matchup is it's unlosable. But then again, he has terrible ping right now. But he's doing quite well with his ticks there on his barrage from his full range setup.
I mean, I can't talk. The last time I competed in one of these tournaments was the All-Stars, and I was shaking like a leaf. I just couldn't keep my nerves under control. So I can't imagine right now, knowing this is the first round of many to come with $32,000 on the line, all the participants, stay calm and not make any mistakes is easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah, and it looks like the fog's slowly ticking them down now. That pretty much shows how long this fight's been going on for. But I think Jay's got this. I think he just needs to use his AGS smack a bit more and probably try to get some more barrages.
Yeah, it looks like he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brews compared to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe. And obviously his opponent started with a good 5 to 10 more than he did. So I would say that Jay's definitely done a great job. But this fog now, unless he keeps this up and keeps managing the supplies properly, he could very easily lose it just by the pure fact that he's getting constantly ticked down, and he might have to brew down. Have to restore again to catch those barrages.
He's actually losing on brews right now. He's got a manta ray and he has under 5 brews, opposed to what's that, 4 and a sip. This is super close.
I mean, like you said just there, though, using the AGS a bit more, hitting the 34 whack is huge for Jay right now. That is 2 doses of a brew, pretty much. So he needs to catch this freeze, catches it at 26, big hit 2 on the full black D'hide, and stepping under, just chilling. But he's got to make sure that he's still doing damage while stepping under, because if he doesn't, this fog's just going to, leave both of these guys with as minimal supplies as each other.
So yeah, I personally think this is a very sad fight for Jay, but at the same time, it's kind of a good one. Because, I mean, he's taken the risk with just taking the AGS instead of taking, like, more optimal melee gear. So, considering that, this isn't a bad matchup for him to have. Unfortunately, I think he spec'd 3 times with the AGS, and I think the biggest spec he had was less than 20.
Yeah, I think so too. I think skill specs as well as that. He still has enough supplies. It looks like he's actually 1 brew extra than his opponent, so I think he's going to secure this one, utilising the Blood Barrage as well while stepping under to get a bit more of that HP, because every hit point matters at the moment, but a 0 AGS there, and looks like No Way is actually out of supplies, and he's got no restores left, so his range is going to be really low, as after you drink a brew, your stats are drained as well. You've got to micromanage those brews and restores smart, and Skill Spec's doing a fantastic job of that as well. Again, catching another free, stepping under, going for the AGS whack, I'm sure, in a second as well, and it looks like No Way is not going to be able to come back from this, with only 32 hit points left, getting hit constant 2s as well from the fog. Skill Specs should take this one home. I'm sure a lot of fans in the chat back home watching one of their favourite content creators win it.
Oh, the heart praise up. Oh,
yeah,
he's completely out of restores anyways. It's not a problem. Good fight. Skill Specs has gone through. I am so glad to see that.
Space Needle, that guy was, I think, one of Execution's leaders, I believe. So respect to him. And Skill Specs also representing GG. He was geared up by them. We currently have Eomeri Fools, who I assume is actually Eomeri himself, based on the gear that we see right now. He's got the ACB, the Armadillo chest plate as well. And he hasn't actually got the Armadillo plate legs yet. I believe last time I must have got them from someone else. Also utilising that Vengeance, of course, the range tank build, not having a magic switch, but being on the Vengeance, the Lunar Spellbook, means that a portion of damage dealt to him every 30 seconds is going to be hit back to his opponent. Now, Stinky Saeed, as well, doesn't have Vengeance. He's also a ranged tank. But as you can see, the difference in supplies right now, just ranging the whole time, not having a switch whatsoever. It looks like Eomeri Fools should be able to take this one through.
He's literally just whacking him with a VLS. Look how big his lead is right now. 2 sips of brew versus like...
The 29 through prayer as well. It's
6
so accurate.
full brews. That is actually insane. Level 122 combat versus level 98 though. There's no surprise there. But this is the kind of tank fight I don't mind watching. Do you know why?
Why?
He's not fighting a hybrid. That's okay, that's fine. If they want to just whack each other with VLSs, that's not a problem.
Versus range tank, yeah, absolutely. And Eomeri Fools, the previous winner, first place last time around, winning $20,000, has gone through his first round, now making it to the top 128. That was pretty interesting.
Really interesting fights there. I mean, the skill specs one, let's talk about that.
Oh my God.
That was something. How would you describe it?
Painful, in every way imaginable. Oh my God. Honestly, if he died there and he lost that, he'd never live that down.
No, his Twitch chat would be smoking constantly.
He had a really strong setup, and how would you have done better?
Well, the thing is, you have to remind as well that the audience at home that Skill Specs is currently in Australia, which means his connection to the servers is going to be a little bit more delayed. The ping obviously makes a huge difference. So every time he clicks something, it's going to happen a moment later. And in these neck-and-neck fights, when the skill ceiling is so high, that could make a huge difference between who comes out on top and not. But regardless, man, deserves to be here and deserves to be in the top 2, 5, 6, making it through the first round. He's got 7 rounds to go or so, but can he make it the whole way?
I think if he can pick up like a whip along the way, he'll stand a chance for sure. If he can get himself like a Fury, maybe he's repping the Mystic Boots right now. If he can get something better than that, he might have a shot. We'll see. I'd love him to win though. Jay, he always comes out with something. He's a wild card. I see him like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was expecting the Darox actually when you said that. Yeah. But unfortunately, not today.
Absolutely. So I guess we can say that there was no way was winning. Anyway, moving on to the Eomeri one. So he was our winner from last time, Eomeri. Yeah. What about that one? How would you describe that?
Well, again, I'm surprised that he does not have the Armadillo chain skirt yet. I thought that Fools fed him with the full Armadillo set. But he's got the the VLS. He has the ACB as well. So the DPS that he's dealing right now is just crazy. Absolutely. The Vengeance too. He's max level. He could very well win this whole thing once again and end up with $40,000 for Fools.
Imagine how daunting it is. Your first fight and you're going up against the winner of the last Deadman mode. I mean, I'd be shaking.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you were to lose to that, it's not like you can feel bad. Do you know what I mean? It's a good way to go.
Absolutely. Well, this is, 193 of the best PKers out there, which are going to be going through. Yeah. So who is your front runner so far?
From what we've seen, we've only seen a couple of people. I would say...
They've been strong though.
Eomeri's looking really good. I'm sure he's gonna go really far again. Skill Specs, honestly, I want to see my man Skill Specs go all the way. But I mean, realistically, he's gonna have to pick up some key gear advantages from now on. If you can find someone in full armor deal, or like you said, getting a whip, for example, or some better boots, just any of those little things, it can definitely go a long way. And obviously from now on in as well, everyone's going to have the exact same matched inventories. So whole inventory is wiped to food, same amount of sharks, couple brews, couple restores, super combat, range pot, ground ones maybe, that's it. And then comes down to really skill and what gear they've got and what stats they've trained throughout the week.
I mean, let's not forget he does have an AGS, which is like a god tier spec weapon for this. Like, not many people are going to have that item. So like, there's always the chance that he can get a lucky spec on somebody, maybe take a Fool's member down or another clan member. I mean, claim some good loot.
It can happen, man. Like the AGS can hit 70 somethings. I think 70, whatever.
In his gear, probably like 70.
Don't say it.
So I mean, that's all it's going to take is for one guy who's just shaking a little bit, who's a little bit nervous, fighting with the great skill specs, and hit him off prayer, hit that 70 plus, and it doesn't matter about who's the better hybrid or who's using more supplies. It just matters if you get that KO. So he's got a lot more KO potential than a lot of the other guys who have VLSs, can't hit quite as high. But I mean, you never know. We don't know what to expect. Really.
Exactly. It is all still to play for, and it is now time to go into round 2. So things are going to hot up, and we're going to cut those players in half. So let's go.
Okay, what is this? Wiggler versus Lim. Oh God, I have no idea. Lim. Let's call it Lim. Wiggler versus Lim. And it looks like we've got a Tyrus Ham bone crossbow warrior, and he's about to get 2 hit. Oh my. Okay. Yeah, that's a GG. Good job. Good job.
Oh my God.
RNG game indeed. What? That is a free win if I've ever seen one.
Eat any food.
Dude, he just got the freest freebie ever. Oh my goodness.
Next up, we have Normie Alfie as well. The man himself is also probably streaming right now, and looks like he's opted for the VLS as well. Did manage to get himself the DFS, which was going for the last 3 hours on Livestream, killing Black Dragons. His opponent is Fool's Ulapa, level 102 combat, quite a few combats lower, and he's only got Mystics as well. Mystics, range, and Mage, and that is it. The Crystal Shield, though, having a lot of defense, but Alfie has one as well. I would put my money under Alfie right now, but it's a difficult one, man. I don't know.
Oh, he could have killed him right there. Yeah, Alfie definitely has the more superior matchup right here. The VLS, the R-Rims, he's got a very well-rounded set, to be honest. I remember the last tournament, in fact. I think Alfie did fairly well then. And with the gear he has now, he definitely stands very good chances of going quite far. And another thing to note right here is Alfie has himself a rune pouch, whereas Fool's, he doesn't. He just has 3. He's got 2 extra inventories where he's just wasting food effectively. As you can see, Alfie's almost won this already. The food difference is absolutely huge right now. I think it's fair to say that Alfie's more than likely going to be taking this one. And there is a very big difference, 20 combat levels between Alfie and Fools right now. The cheeky Morgan's throwing axe, the VLS spec. Alfie is doing oh my God. Yeah, Alfie's got this. Holy. Okay, yeah, I think this is fair to say this is in Alfie's corner right now. Like I said, guys, these people haven't been sweating for the past 7 days. Let's bear in mind that every single tournament that's taken part before this one, every single person that's taken part, they have played 7 days, probably playing anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day. And none of these guys have had to done that. They've come in this fresh. They've come into the tournament. They've probably been practicing in PvP worlds or in the wilderness for the last couple of days. And, you can see it right now. Like, I can see a huge difference. I can't see nervous clicks. I can't really see misclicks. It's seeming pretty good. Fool Zupan probably wants to try and get himself a freeze on Alfie if he wants to stand a chance, but he is completely out of food. I think it's fair to say that this one does go to Alfie. And there you go. What is this? Oh, we got Fools versus Skill Specs. How is it looking? Oh, Skill Specs is actually winning quite considerably. He's not doing too bad. Okay. Well, I mean, he does have a, let's have a look. What's this? Oh my, yeah, there's quite a combat difference. Skill Specs being a level 117, Fools being level 95, the Crystal Shield, Rune Helm, No Boot, Power Amulet Warrior. What on earth? The 63 AGS spec coming in from my boy Skill Specs. And the Zero Bolt. He has definitely got this one. There's 1 Shark remaining versus probably 8+ and a sip of Sour Omen Brew. I think, yeah, it's pretty comfortable to say that it looks like Skill Specs has this one. Give him a slap. There you go. 26 through the prayer. Good fight. Very nice.
Also, the beans may have gotten to Ian. He has had to run to go and pee.
Is that what it was? I thought, okay, yeah, okay. I
But
thought he was
that's
pointing
okay.
at me. I was like, what on earth have I
That's
done?
okay. He managed to witness the first fight, which was pretty much a blink and you miss it. What was that? What was that?
God, I don't know.
I feel like that was probably.
What just happened?
I feel like that was probably a case of clan members giving up to a clan leader or something, or someone higher up in the
Okay,
clan.
well, you're talking about the bone crossbow fight. The Tyrus Hound Warrior.
Potentially, yeah.
I think he probably just realised he didn't stand a chance. Like, I mean, I'm not being funny. When you're there with a Tyrus Hound and you're there with a bone crossbow.
Look, I don't want you dissing the bone crossbow.
Hey,
I have gone into
come on.
Dead
What are you
Man's
going to do
crossbow.
with it against a guy that's in like full barrows?
Well, you know, it can be strong. But we have another game, so we're going to go look at that now.
Oh my God. Oh, and it's over already. 32k madness. Beautiful start. Next, please.
That was gingivitis, was that?
Okay, who do we have here? Tom the Man 9. I recognize that name. Against Crayon Twitter, I believe that says. And it looks, oh my, that's very close. Wow. So there's 2 sips of brew for the level 102. And Tom's actually at a level disadvantage. He must have just gone with the mage range setup. And it doesn't look like it's done that well. He only has 1 shark remaining. The fog is currently ticking down. However, he does have soul runes in the inventory. He should have blood barrage. So if he plays this correctly, he might be able to pull this back. If he can get a freeze and a DD underneath, as much as I have to say, I absolutely despise those filthy DDers. Not my kind of hybrid at all. You're supposed to stand like a man when you're hybriding.
No way. He got the redemption off right at the end. Is that going to make him win it?
Oh, wow. Tom the
can't
Man.
believe
What a beast.
And the bad manners as well as he falls down, unfortunately for him. The next fight we have is Tubby versus Zor, I believe is how you pronounce it. And Tubby is representing the full Infinity Robes. What an absolute, well, magician. Doing really well there and catching some freezes too. He's actually looking like supply-wise, he's got a lot less than his opponent. And his opponent's got some much better tank gear, of course. Tubby only has some Rune and some Dragon compared to Zor's, well, is that Guffin's Chainskirt and a Verax Helm, I believe?
Do you think he got the Infinity in the past 3 hours? That wouldn't have been possible.
There's no way. There's no way someone did Magic Training really that much. But I mean, to get the full Infinity as well, to use all your points there as opposed to getting like loads of boots for your team and such,
yeah,
that's an interesting one. I personally would go for it.
Why would they go for that?
That's what I mean.
Why wouldn't they go for the Mage's Book?
Yeah, I know.
That makes no sense. Okay, I mean, I respect it.
Yeah,
fair enough.
yeah.
It looks awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's clear it's not really working very well.
Dude, it's all about the fashion game, and you got to look good in this competition. Who cares if you're going to win or not? I think Tubby at level 89 combat, I didn't think he was going to go all the way.
Morgan
so
throw an axe.
He'd look good while doing it instead, you feel me?
And also, I mean, Tubby, he does have a slight advantage in terms of his magic plus against the Mystic, and he also has the rune pouch, so he's actually saving free inventory spots.
He's actually come back as well with those blood blitzes. Currently, both players on almost no supplies left. It's 15 versus 27. He needs to catch that freeze.
Oh, take the Infinity, dude.
Wow, that was
yours now.
That was a nice comeback as well from Tubby. That almost came back and won it. I must apologise profusely. I had to go to the bathroom real quick. You'd think that like after years of casting these DM tournaments, I wouldn't get nervous anymore, but I do. I'm sorry.
You were pointing at me. I was like, what? I was like, what have I done?
No, I was like, keep going. I'm sorry. Like we do one casting fight together, and I'm like, sorry, mate. You're on your own now. Run with it. You know, I'm so sorry.
You're like pointing at my groin, and it's like, what am I supposed to do?
I'm sorry, man. I'm the worst. But
It was wild. So that was round 2.
Yeah.
Of what you saw.
Of what I saw, Tubby looking good, man. He wasn't able to actually secure the win, but did a fantastic job of looking good while doing it. And I can appreciate the fashion scale. I can appreciate the robes that he got hold of. Apart from that, we also saw some really neck and neck fights coming right down to the wire. And that's why I said earlier, just to add to that you don't know who's won the fight until it's finished with. So what fights did I miss as well?
You missed a legendary fight.
Oh really? Who versus who?
Well, I mean, I'm talking Runeful Helm, Power Amulet, Bone Crossbow versus Full Barrel.
No way.
And Nightinator was defending it.
Look, that's a strong setup.
How did
If ever I've seen one, that's a strong.
How did he get the Dorgish crossbow? Wow, that thing is so rare.
You missed a banger, mate. I'm not gonna lie, it was close. It was close.
I was absolutely rooting for him. We also saw skill specs going on to round 2 as well.
Oh really? He made it through. Who was his opponent?
God, I don't know.
I can't
remember what it was.
Was it a behemoth, like a guy in like crazy raid boss tank gear, or?
It was a Falls member, I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow, okay.
He was in like ranged rag, I suppose, I think.
Oh, nice.
I don't think it was anything special.
Oh, Jay getting some,
am I
some
wrong?
decent
I can't
matchups.
actually remember. I'm not sure. It's just been crazy.
Well, I mean,
A very memorable fight.
the point is, SkillSpecs made it through, defied all odds. No one thought he'd make it this far, so I'm happy for the man. And hopefully we'll see some more content creators, some of the other big names that are left in this tournament.
We did very briefly see Gingivitis die. Now, I don't know who that is, but we saw it for about a millisecond. We just saw someone called Gingivitis die, so unfortunately,
Oh, fair play.
they've gone.
Right.
Yeah.
We also have the previous demo mode runner-up, Manked Up Mage, of course, who's also live streaming right now as a reminder. His RSN is Goofy Gang. So if we see Mr. Goofy running around with some crazy gear, he's one of the guys definitely to look out for because he can definitely make it the whole way. And he's won demo tournaments in the past. He also won the All-Stars event that I took part in. 15-0'd everyone, all the competition, all these content creators that came there with big egos. They're all trashed by Manked. He just, mopped the floor with them all.
He's proven himself time and time again. It's like if there's one person that you don't want to be in a caged arena with where you have to fight, it's that dude.
That guy, yeah.
100%. You don't want to be messing with Manx.
You don't want to be in the duel arena with like no forfeit options turned off. You've got to stay right there. Yeah.
And it's amazing watching him play as well because he's just cool as a cucumber. He's the calmest person.
It's the classical music. He puts in the classical players, a bit of Beethoven in the background, and he just cools right down and just effortlessly destroys everybody.
Absolutely.
That's so strange, man.
So majestic.
That's really weird.
Whatever works. Whatever works. Well, hope you're excited because we're about to go into round 3.
Right, let's jump into this. We have
here we
SkillSpecs
go.
once again versus Goofy Gang himself. This is what we think it's Manked, and Manked is looking really scary right now. And I feel for SkillSpecs, but the AGS, the misclick. No, that could have been it off prayer as well. 39
That was
still.
good. That was a decent spec.
That would have been like a 70 off press. That would have been a massive advantage. But despite that, he got 33 barrage as well, and another 20 on the right prayer. SkillSpecs getting the edge right now against Manked, who is finding it really difficult actually to stay in this fight. But it's not over until it's over. All it's going to take now is for Manked to regain consciousness, catch a few freezes, and start to levy the fight in his favour. Of course, the game of tribriding is very much to do with the 55 VLS.
Man, you got to admire. Look, Goofy Gang. Look at Manx inventory. He has 5 recoil rings. He's fairy craft. He knows exactly what the best thing. He knows that taking those rings over food is going to be worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
This man is he's an absolute beast.
Yeah, well, the thing is with the inventories, if you don't have space to hold the sharks the same inventory as everyone else, then it drops to the floor and your opponent can't see it. So Manx, realizing that, has decided to have a bunch of recoils for every single fight, so he always has the recoil to aid him. And those recoils give you 40 damage per ring, which is basically 2 sharks. So it's a huge advantage. And right now, again, just Goofy Gang, Mr. Manx is just, tearing the floor with SkillSpecs. Although saying that, Jay still has a chance. He's still got that AGS spec soon coming up. 70% spec, he has got an AGS spec ready. And Manx doing the little staff bash. SkillSpecs catching the freeze, and he's not giving up that easily,
There
is
is
he?
definitely winning here for SkillSpecs, 100%. All he needs to get is a nice barrage combo into an AGS. This could be over. That's the thing. Mank's more used to the outlast in fights from what you can see. I'd say Mank pretty confidently can outlast most, if not all PKers. And it's he won't be expecting to get AGS to 70, although he probably is aware at this point he has the AGS, so he will be keeping his HP relatively high. SkillSpecs could still win this, but when you look at the gear difference, there's clearly a big gear advantage to Goofy Gang Manked. He's got the VLS, he has the Berserker Ring imbued, he has the full tank setup, the Dragon Hunter crossbow. I have no idea what boots he's wearing, but they look cool as hell.
I think they're the boots from the Konar new update thing. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they give you pretty good stats for defense for tribriding with. And SkillSpecs, the AGS, 58 was that on the right prayer. And Mank now having to retaliate with another VLS spec, but SkillSpecs gets his prayer up just in time, and he's doing a fantastic job of staying in this right up until the end.
Oh, he got frozen there. That's very, very unfortunate. It looks like SkillSpecs only has himself 4 edibles left, 3 sharks, 1 Karambwan. But he still does have the soul rings. He has Blood Barrage. He should probably try and take advantage of freezing Manked, standing underneath and getting as many Blood Barrages off as possible at this point.
I want to say this again, SkillSpecs is from Australia at the moment, so his ping and that delay is really making me quite proud of him, the fact that he's stayed in this fight for so long and is fighting Mr. Goofy Gang so well. But Now, Manct has around 5 sharks left. Skill Specs is out of supplies apart from 1 Karamwan, and it's going to take a pretty big miracle for him to actually secure this win. Of course, like I said before, Manct having the Crystal Shield is huge defense bonus. The boots as well, much better than the Mystic boots. He also has, obviously, like I said, the VLS, the Dragon Crossbow with better bolts, and
unlucky
that was it.
skill specs.
That's very unfortunate, but Manct gave him the respect, GF brother. He caught the freeze at the end too, was in it right up until the end.
I remember speaking to Manct actually after PvP All-Stars, and he said the one person that he found unpredictable was skill specs.
Yeah.
Truly unpredictable. He's a wild card. He's an entity of his own, you know. You never know what to expect from the guy. He might pull DH out on 1 HP, or he might just pull out the AGS when he doesn't have a whip.
Exactly.
Like, who knows?
And we have Deadman right now, who is a maxed combat, completely maxed out stats. 122 combat. Only got the Statius Warhammer, which drains your opponent's defense if you do hit. That was for Trash PK. And both players now, very low on supplies. I would say that Deadman has a slight advantage, and gear-wise, Deadman's going to actually pick up.
It's almost
Arim's
identical.
bottom.
The gear is almost identical. They both have black Dragonhide tops. The only difference that I can actually see is obviously the spec weapon, the VLS.
Oh, the VLS is huge.
Versus the Statius Warhammer. The true battle. Which one will win? If I had to put my money on anything, it's clearly going to be the VLS, but it's a game of RNG, so you never know. The Statius Warhammer may come through strong, especially if he can hit himself a big spec right now.
I mean, supplies right now, both players looking very, very even. Deadman using his last spec, 7 on the right. Prayer, unfortunately for him, but not quite big enough. And Trash PK has 75% spec left, so that set is one. I can definitely hit quite a few big hits. And with no restores for Deadman either, his defense will be drained, and he won't be able to be potted back up again.
This is very, very close. Look how neck and neck this is. They're both on exactly the same amount of food. 1 Karamwan versus 1 Shark. This is going to be very, very close. This will go the distance. They both had Blood Barrage. They should definitely be trying to take advantage of that. They should still be DDing under each other. Unfortunately, Trash PK has taken his prayer off. He's out of prey.
No way.
Oh, he's out of prayer. That's so unfortunate.
He has 50% spec left. He's not utilised those specs, which he needs to use before he gets out of food. If he uses a bit earlier, then his opponent's defense would have been lowered quite substantially. But again, starting to panic. The fog's starting to hit in twos. He's out of food. He's out of prayer. He's out of luck. And looks like Deadman's going to finish this off, although Trash definitely could have come in and taken this win very easily. Dying with 2 specs is such a bad idea. The guy has what, like 30 hit points left as well?
I mean, I feel like he was clearly kind of panicking there by the looks of it. He had 2 specs, he could have brought it back.
Again, it comes down to the wire, those end fights, and it comes down to experience as well, not, you know, shaking, trembling like a leaf like I did at the All-Stars event. It's a difficult one. But skill specs, unfortunately, falling to Manct, or rather quite fortunate for Manct, previous second place winner, might be able to go the whole way again. I don't think Manct actually picked up any notable increases in items that he needed because...
Do you think he'd take the AGS, though, over the VLS?
No way.
I don't think he would.
The thing about the VLS is it hits through your opponent's 25% of their defense. It rolls off that. So it's a no-brainer. When you're doing an Outlast fight, not a KO potential fight, it's got a smaller max hit, but you've got 4 chances to... poke your opponent's eye out with, so to speak. It's a great all-round weapon, and you can whack with it a bit faster than the AGS.
Oh, you got to give mad props though to Skills Specs for pulling out the AGS, man. That's very respectable. I love to see it.
Definitely.
That was a really interesting fight. We also saw briefly, we saw Luno fighting, and I think Luno won that one. Who is Inya, who was the 2008 winner. Yes, 2018, sorry, not 2008. It's not been going that long. 2018 winner.
Okay.
So that'd be really interesting to see how they go on to the next round.
Definitely, like I said before, he's one of the more accomplished hybrids or tribrids in the game. He's notorious in the singles community as being one of the best, if not the best. So him against Manct would be a great fight to see, both being in tribrid gear right now. Yeah, that was a great matchup. I look forward to seeing who wins the next one.
So which was your favourite fight out of those ones? Which was the standout?
For me, it'd have to be the last one. That was so close.
That was so close.
That was ridiculously close. Like, you could tell the poor guy was just panicking towards the end, which you are when you're at like 10 HP and you're getting hit by 2 fogs every like tick, basically. Like, I can't blame the guy, but he should have tried to get his specs off. Just very unfortunate.
Yeah, real shame. Those specs, they can hit like, what, 50s, 60s, depending if he had piety or not. Probably not
He didn't have prey, but he could still certainly hit like 30, maybe even 40.
And like I said before, it drains your opponent's defense level, so that might have given him the edge where his bolts would have hit a tiny bit better and could have closed the win for him. My favourite fight was definitely the skill specs versus Manct, two of my favourite content creators going at it. Everyone likes that, you know, the whole... The giant versus the guy who's comes out of the mist. So that was definitely a fight to watch. kudos to Skill Specs for putting up a good fight, nonetheless.
Absolutely. It's really
well.
interesting as well when you have someone along the lines of Manx who's won so many things before, and we have what I like to call the God view, where you can see their invent, you can see their prayer, their spec, everything. It's really interesting to see behind the scenes and how they're playing, because I love that. I think it's so interesting.
Yep.
It is very good. And also, you know, take some tips. It's great for the next dead man. But we're about to go into round 4, so let's see what's up next.
Oh, solo mission, the IRL Necreal. What an absolute beast. He's up against Luno. Oh my, solo mission has some very good gear, but he's gone with the rag tank setup, man.
You're not a fan, are you?
No, I'm not a fan.
You might not be a fan, but the 47 being hit back with Vengeance definitely gives him a slight advantage right now. And we said before, Luno, I believe, is Inya, who is one of the frontline members, one of the best hybrids in the game, apparently. We have Solo Mission as well, who needs no introduction either. He's a content creator. He's played numerous DMMs. He held down Shiloh Village with Blazers last time round, and he made it quite far. He's currently rocking the Dragon Crossbow. I guess he's got some really decent bolts as well, which do a lot more damage. And Vengeance 2, slowly ticking away. And also a Statius Warhammer. Unfortunately, no VLS for him, but it's still going to help in having 2 attack styles.
I don't know if you're checking on Luno's inventory. Literally every single tick that there's a chance for him to get taking damage, he has the recoil ring equipped. Like, this guy is actually on another level.
Yeah.
Are you seeing this?
Yeah, he's doing 4-ways constantly, just trying to fake out his opponent, trying to get his opponent to pray the wrong thing. And Solo Mission's defense bonuses right now, he's got very tanky range defense, not the best mage defense, but still, he's got the Carol's top on, and that's why Solo Mission's predominantly praying magic. But if he gets hit by that VLS off prey, he can still smack 50s.
Does Solo Mission have dragon gloves on? I can't really see it, it's quite far away, but it looks like he's wearing dragon gloves.
What? He quested for his...
Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah, he
dragon
does,
gloves on
unless they're red gloves from Canifist, but I doubt he's grabbed those.
Why would he buy them? No, they're dragon gloves. Oh my, Solo Mission.
Oh, he's gone hard,
You
man.
absolute monster. You've been playing your Iron Man for too long, my friend. Oh my goodness.
He's also level 122 combat as well. Dude,
Those dragon gloves won't save you there, buddy.
If that was a Vengeance, it would be really nice. And look at his inventory too. Look at those recoil rings. 6 recoil rings. So he's planning to go right through to the end. But if he can't beat Luno here, that means that Luno's going to pick up all those recoils and have a substantially higher advantage compared to his future opponents. And again, able to go right till the end too. It's all about what you can pick up against your opponents. The Vengeance slapping back for 46, getting hit at 34. Luno has got the food advantage. But can he stay in this and keep doing his constant 4-way switches up for much longer?
How worth do you think the recoil rings are in comparison to, say, a Brew or a Shark?
Well, like I said before, if you every single fight we have, the same inventories are dropped to the floor if you don't have space and your opponent can't see those food. So every fight you have 20 sharks, for example, he can just pick them up again straight afterwards. He's not at any disadvantage from bringing the recoils in. He just got to manage his inventory carefully. For all we know, Solo's got a couple sharks on the floor right now, but I would expect him to have picked him up already. Again, as well, a lot of people would say that the tank setup is the best, and we saw Eomeri with the tank setup winning last time. But right now,
the
Luno's
46
showing.
status Warhammer.
Damn, that was big.
I think the main advantage with the tanks up, even saying that Solo Mission is clearly a loss right now, it's the simplicity of it. Like, if he wants, he can just do a 2-way switch and keep his eye on his prayers. Like, that's the advantage. Whereas Luna has, like, at least 4-way switches to do every single game tick. He clearly has a bit of a gear advantage. He has the DFS, he has the VLS, he has the Armadillo crossbow.
Oh, what a great timed Vengeance, but it might be a little bit too late. Solo Mission now on 57 hit points with 1 Brudos left. Luno has 1 Shark, so that's 96 hit points. It's very close. The 31 really clutching Luno into the advantage right now. He's taking his time, switching through to tank and trying to catch Solo Mission off prayer. Solo Mission actually getting the prayer up just in time there.
This is very close. Dude, they're actually both completely out of food. The only difference is Luno actually has a Blood Barrage. That's the only difference. I feel like Luno should be going for a freeze right now, trying to DD underneath him and just getting some DPS off.
It's literally anyone's game right now. And Solo
This
Mission,
is anyone's game.
He's not really a PKer predominantly. He's mostly a maxed Iron Man, as he's well known for. But over the last few months in particular, he's been training with Blazers, getting better, catches the redemption perfectly, gets his prayer back up for the Prey Melee as well to save himself from dying. Solo Mission now on 7 hit points, Luno on 59. Unfortunately not quite enough. There it was. Inya representing Frontline. One of the previous MO winners going through, beating Solo Mission, proving that Tribrid can beat Tank if you are skilled enough to do so.
Oof. Another AGS falls to the ground. There's nothing there that'd be worth taking for him. He actually had an armor crossbow anyways. So who's this? Fool's 8 versus... How do you say that name?
Swing. We'll call him Swing. Both players maxed combat. Fools this guy is a high member of Fools.
Oh,
He's
the
known by many.
51.
No way. What?
There
He got
may
the
be a
redemption up
comeback
as
here.
well. That was a huge comeback, and he could have killed him right there too. The 43 whack. That is one of the best combos we've seen so far.
That was so close. Again, they were both completely out of food, the both of them.
And I think Fool's actually just picked up a huge advantage for himself. He got himself not only the Armadillo chain skirt, I think, but also a DFS, which compared to the defender that he has, it's a lot of defense bonus, a lot of major defense bonus too. What a great pickup for him.
That's insane. Like, that guy's clearly going through to the next round with like a huge advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
That gear upgrade right there, massive, absolutely huge.
Fools are looking incredibly strong at the moment, and I believe that they have the most clan members in this final at the moment.
Wow.
So, I mean, they are just knocking them out left, right and centre. I think they stand a really good chance at the moment. We also saw the fight between Luno and Solo Mission as well. How about that one?
Honestly, for a moment there, I thought that Solo Mission was actually going to come back and secure the win, which I was. No offense to him, he's a great friend of mine, but he's not known as being a super accomplished PKer as Inya is. Luno. So either way, though, it could have gone either way. And again, it just goes to show just how close these fights can be and how on the edge of the seat we are, waiting to see what the last few damage splats could be.
Definitely. I mean, there was definitely a few opportunities there for Solo Mission to get like a nice venge into a status Warhammer, or even a bolt. There were a few points where he got Luno down to like 20 health, and he was pretty much at full. So he brought it pretty close. Kind of unfortunate towards the end. Obviously, he had 6 recoil rings left, which is going to help Luno out in the next round. So I think that set him up pretty strong.
Definitely, and I also mentioned as well, having the status Warhammer, that might have been the difference. You know, not having the VLS has a bit more DPS, a much better spec as well. If he had the VLS, I reckon he could have had that in the bag. But
absolutely. So just getting some updates on who is still currently in this. We got some bad news. We've got Eomeri, Alfie, and Manx are all dead. They're out of the competition. Something that I think is really interesting is we saw Solo Mission with the 6 recoils. Manx had a lot of recoils. Everyone seems to be dying with recoils. How do you think that strategy is going? I'll leave you for a moment just to process that, Ian.
What? The previous winner and second place both out already?
Absolutely.
Well, that's a surprise.
It is a surprise.
It seems like the recoil ring thing just isn't working, right? You just said that they're all dead. It clearly isn't working very well. I mean, maybe if Ring of Sufferings were a thing, it'd be okay, but it's not.
No, got removed previously.
I think the recoil is firing back to hit them.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, at the same time, the players that now did manage to beat Manx and Eomeri and such, now they have, and Luno as well, the frontline guy, they've got so many recoils now, they're going to have right to the end, so is it going to make a difference? I don't know, man, but again, sorry to repeat this over and over again, but it's like we don't know who's going to win, we don't know how it's going to perform on the day, what kind of gear these guys have kitted up certain members with. It's completely different this rerun to the last tournament, and that's what makes it, in my opinion, just so exciting.
Absolutely, it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
So it's all to play for. It's all still to play for as we go into round 5.
Oh my! Look at the 2 setups they have.
We've gotten rid of all the Dorgish and crossbows. Now we're on to 122
we're
combat.
On to the real players
with their
gear. Look at the gear setups they have. Straight in with the VLS from Blazer's Rise against Fool's Jazzka.
Yeah. So Reese is one of Blazer's top picks for being geared up in the best gear possible. And Fool's Jazzka, I don't know personally, but looks like he's also one of those guys. He has the Armadillo chest plate, which is huge compared to Reese. But Reese, still on full hit points, 110 HP out of 99, and doing a fantastic job of getting the lead right now. If he does manage to beat Fool's Jazzka, he will get that Armadillo chest plate. And I would say Blazer's Reese right now, with Manx and Eomeri out of the tournament, he is definitely one to watch all the way through to the end.
They both have Mage's Book, they both have Zuriel staffs. This right here is like the most intense fight we've seen so far. The gear setups here are max, best in slot. Look at it, the amount of damage they can put out. Fools is currently losing to Blazers right now. I have to say, it's quite interesting to see that people aren't really DDing under each other as much as what they have in previous tournaments. Yeah. I'm a fan of that. I don't like the DDing method. I feel like it's cowardly. Like, you should fight.
Cowardly?
It's
Whoa,
cowardly.
Shots fired.
You should fight your opponent, like, stand foot to foot. And you should be toe-to-toe. You guys should be fighting it out. It shouldn't be a case of DD.
Amen.
It should just be a straight-out brawl.
As you say that, Reese has to go and, DD under his opponents if he just heard what we're talking about. He's like, you know what, screw you. It's a good strategy. But Reese right now just absolutely tearing Fool's Jazzka up and doing a really good job of doing it.
Clicks on the bolts on the floor. That's slightly unfortunate.
It might have been actually a little bit of food that he's left because he doesn't have space because of the recoils he has. He's not actually switching between the recoil and the Sears ring. He's just keeping the recoils on the whole time. A 56 on the right prayer for Jazzka. He needed that to come back. But is it too little, too late?
So it looks like right now, it seems like Fools has a slight food advantage.
But
Never
now
mind,
he's picking up
Blazers
the
is
Sharks.
picking his
Look at
food
that
up.
inventory.
Very, very cheeky.
So both players now on 30% spec, which means 1 VLS spec each. They've got to make it count, got to catch the opponent off prayer. You can still whack, 30 to 40 free prayer if they get the spec right. But hitting those 50 to 60 is really what you want when neither player has vengeance. Both trying to fake each other out, putting on the tank gear in between the switches to ensure they minimize any damage taken. Fools just trying to go in for the VLS there, but Reese doing a fantastic job of stepping outwards to the side so that he's not able to be meleeed whilst he's being frozen.
I mean, something to remember about these fights as well, like we said at the beginning, he could have died there, Fools.
That was a KO potential chance.
Why didn't
You're
you
not right.
Change your prayer, man. Damn, that was close. Something to remember, like, these guys haven't been sweating it for the last 7 days. These guys are fresh.
You
I
say-
think that's
you
why
say
we're
that.
seeing such high-quality fights right now, aside from that obvious misclick. I don't know what that was, but hey.
You say that, but these guys have actually, most likely, at least from what I know of Blazers and Reese, they've probably been, sitting in TeamSpeak all day long, 10 hours a day, practicing it out, fighting against each other in the duel arena and such to get the most practice and the best chance they have of winning this $32,000 grand prize. But Reese right now being one shark up, being on 60 hit points, Jaska needs to get that spec, the 25%, to actually hit on the right prayer, which he might do, but being frozen just before he was able to.
He even had the Armadillo chest plate equipped. That was quite unfortunate there. Fools, wow, they're both completely out. It looks like
89 hit points.
Blazers is, he has a clear lead. This is going to be, never mind.
Wow, that was
Blazers
actually really
rise
close.
goes through to the next round.
Yeah, fantastic.
That was close.
Fantastic reactions from Reese there. I think at the beginning he had quite the advantage and kept calm the whole way through. We're back to Luno. Inya, a previous 2018 demo mode winner, going up against Fool Santito. And Fool Santito looks to be also hybriding, and both players being almost out of food, but
A 2 food advantage to Luno right there. And he has a HP advantage as well. And unfortunately, he doesn't have a spec. But
and he's been faked out twice. Santito actually hit a 25 and a 30 something there. The Bolt, the ACB doing absolute work. But is it enough to come back? 60 HP versus 34. Neither player has a spec just yet, but they're about to get a new one.
I think the most important thing here is just to watch that melee prey. All it's going to take is a VLS slap and you're out of this. And bearing in mind, once you die, guys, you ain't spawning in Lumbee. You're kicked out of the game, just like full Santiano just happened. Unfortunate.
I think Luno actually may have got a gear upgrade there, maybe the DFS, I'm not too sure though. We have Jez versus Seni, and looks like Jez is out. And Seni gets, is that an armor?
That's an armor chest plate.
Wow,
That is
not
a
many of those in the game.
upgrade.
That was
a very nice upgrade.
Yeah, definitely.
Right there. He had a black dragon hide top. That is enormous.
We only have 4 solo players remaining now, don't we?
We have 4 solo players
Wait,
remaining.
we're at the end already, pretty much. Wow, it's gone by so quickly.
You
It's
missed
been so
half
fun.
of it.
Don't you?
It is crazy. But also, that was just an absolute massacre of Fools there.
Yeah.
We saw 3 Fools being destroyed. And I believe, just before we get into that, there were 6 Fools in total, which means there are just 3 remaining left in this. The tables are turning.
Yeah.
We've lost some really big players in this. I mean, what do you reckon is going to come up next? Any predictions?
Well, I'd say obviously going into this now, if you have the Armadillo chest plates, manage to gather off one of the well-fed guys, one of the raid bosses, then your chances are looking really nice. But at the same time, we've seen players who don't have the Armadillo chest plate and are still able to beat that player with just a Carol's top. So it goes to show that skill does matter here.
Skill, RNG, everything counts. It's just one of those games, like, at the end of the day, if you're a very good hybrid and you're confident in yourself, it doesn't matter. Like, you could be against somebody then pretty much max gear and being like Mystics, and you could still potentially win, but you need some good RNG on your sides.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Inya's got a really, really good chance right now to win his second tournament for Frontline if he's still associated with them, and he's probably one of the guys to watch. In terms of who else is left, do we have any idea of which clans
We do indeed. So we have some Blazers left in there. We have, I'm not sure, so Inya made it through.
Yeah, Luno.
I think they're either with Frontline or Lit.
Okay.
We have, I believe, one member of GG. I'm not sure whether they made it through that round or not, so we will find out in the next round.
Nice.
And the rest of the 4 solo players, plus, of course, the 3 Fools. So it is all still to play for, and it's really up in the air.
There are 4 solo players left.
Well, there were 4 going into this, so we will see in a moment. We'll
see.
get an update and find out who's currently remaining. But I mean, I would love to see a solo player make it right to the final.
I mean, if they're going to win, this is the one that they're most likely to. And
I want it to happen,
multi-stage
man.
again. So
I'm pretty sure a solo player won once, and it was, I'm not sure if this is 100% right, but I swear it was the, do you know the Barbarian what's it called? You know where you get the 10k in the shiny boots?
Our own village.
Yeah, that place there. I swear a solo player won that in the multi somehow at one point. I might be completely wrong, but
Are
somebody.
you talking about Wooks when he was tick-eating in the
No,
fall?
it was someone else, but I do remember that. Yes.
And You Never Learn as well, I think, was the one that won that one by tick-eating at a bank, I believe.
So a quick update
Smart
before we go into round 6, which will be slightly longer. There are 3 solo players remaining, so they're doing well.
Ooh.
They're standing strong.
Wait, 3?
There's 3 still
Oh,
remaining.
How many
Wow.
players are left in total right now?
Left in total, there'll be 8.
Oh, that's good.
excellent.
It's not bad.
It's very exciting. So, without further ado, let's go round into round 6.
Blazers Rise, Alpha Apache.
Okay.
And they both have hybrid tribrid setups. Oof. The Armadillo chain skirt versus the Armadillo chest plate.
This is a really interesting fight because these guys do not like each other, from what I remember. I used to play them a while ago. So, yeah, legit, this is an interesting fight. This is all to play
Oh, the
for.
smite. This guy is confident, man.
Yeah, I'm
He's
telling
out
you.
for blood right now.
I know, yeah. So Apache Mike, as he's known as, from my knowledge at least, I hope I'm saying this right, he's been around for many years in demo mode. He used that
he
was a
could have
great
died
fake you.
there.
He's actually been part of Blazers before, years ago, until he was kicked from the team, which Reese is still in. So
Why was he kicked?
let's not get into that. But Reese right now, he's got everything to play for, trying to, represent his team right now. And Mike Apache really wants to show to them, like, it was a mistake you guys kicking me, Now look at me, I'm taking the win for my other team that I'm with. I'm not too sure who he's with, but I'm sure we'll get confirmation sometime soon. He's picking up his Sharks, but right now,
Something
gear
interesting,
advantage-wise-
Alpha Apache actually has... He's got so many legs on him. He's got the Armadillo chain skirt and he has the Torag legs.
Yeah, so the...
He's got a lot of loot on him. That's kind of questionable right there. And he's dead.
What? A
Unfortunate,
KO?
man. Blazers
CVA
Rise.
says. What do you mean CVA? You should have got
Wow.
your player on right, or 8 and higher. Reese taking him down. That was a huge KO. And he picks up the Armadillo chain skirt as well, which gives him full armor till.
Oh my, yeah, I think that Rise right there, he has a very solid chance of potentially taking this home right now. But right now we're against Wiggler versus Senny.
Wiggler might even be Wiggle. I'm not too sure. He's got the WB, which stands for Blazers, in his name, which I expect is because he's representing Blazers. And Senny, absolute range tank, demonizing him right now. Look at this. He's got the VLS. He's got the Armadillo chain, plate body. He's also got the DFS2. If Wiggler can beat him, he gets a decent upgrade again, saying the Armadillo has a huge mage defense, but it's going to be very hard to beat this guy, especially with his Vengeance as well, slowly dwindling Wiggler's HP down.
Again, Senny has a Varak plate skirt, a Carol skirt, and some Torag legs in the inventory. What's going on here? I mean, do you think potentially it's in case they go against somebody that's in their clan and they're trying to give them gear?
It's literally because depending on what your opponent is using, you've got to try and guess what attack style it is. If they're using magic, you want to have that, mage defense high, which is why he's got the Carol skirt. If
No,
they're
he's
using
got 3 legs. He's got the Carols, the Varak, and the Torag legs.
The Torag's legs probably have a tiny bit higher range defense, maybe.
But do you really think that's worth taking over an extra shot?
I mean, I'm not good enough personally to do it, but I mean, Senny's on another level right now. It's just, gliding around this ice rink at the moment and trying to do as much damage as he possibly can. But Wiggler needs to catch this freeze. Is he able to on the Armadillo chest plate? It's very difficult right now for him, but secures the freeze. He's probably going to step under potentially, but I mean, when he catches that freeze, the problem with Senny at the moment is he only has range that he can use while he is frozen. So Wiggler can just, focus on his switches, trying to fake you out, and, just saying that, hits a 34 with the VLS off prey.
But then again, he does have the Armadillo crossbow, which is, the best in this fight right now. That is pretty much the best in slot that he could have, aside from the Morrigan Javelins, of course, which we haven't seen much of, unfortunately. But it looks right now like it could be either of these guys' game.
Well, right now, Wiggler down with 3 food left versus Senny's 3 food. Has a slight advantage. He also has a couple of recoils. So, I mean, my money would be right now on Wiggler because he's made it this far. He's got his opponent frozen and he's just, going around in circles, doing great damage. 31 through the prayer. That's huge as well. Senny does not have any spec left. He's still got the Vengeance, but will it be enough?
I think it will be. Like I said, Senny has a Varak plate skirt and Torag legs. I don't mean to keep going on about it, but it's bugging the hell out of me. What were you thinking, dude? But yeah, I'm very glad to see that Wiggler's working him right now. It looks like he might, maybe not, maybe I spoke too soon. DD underneath. He's also got Dragon Gloves. This guy was on the solo mission grind as well. Look at that.
Oh, the 45, that's probably secured the win for Wiggler. And another one, 0, unfortunately, but 67 HP lead versus 18. That is a huge advantage right now. Although saying that, all it takes is for Sane to get that spec. He's got 25% spec. Can he utilize it? Can he get that VLS spec to hit a 50 and come back into this fight? The Vengeance hitting just enough to not kill him. Senny's going for the VLS right now, trying to fake it out, get some hits off Prayer, but only a 2. Wiggler just catches one last freeze, and Senny is out of the game. But he does have the redemption Prayer, trying to flick it up. Can he catch off that redemption, that clutch? Here, if Wiggler hits a 0, but it's a 52 to secure the win for him.
Wiggler.
Wow.
Oh my.
That's what we like to see, you know, the
I like to see the hybrid, the
through.
Tribid has to win over the range tank every single time.
Our next fight we have Matt against CRA, I think. Again, we got a bunch of skilled Tribers in this tournament. Not many range tanks left, which is something we've not seen in a demo mode for quite some time now.
And as these fights have gone on, you can clearly see that the upgrading gear, pretty much everybody at this point has the max best in slot. We're talking VLS's, Armadillo crossbows,
He's even brought the tome in. It only gives like a +8 mage or something like that, but every little helps in ensuring you catch those freezes and get that advantage by DDing under your opponent. Both players right now trying to fake each other out, making sure they're switching again to their tank setups. They minimize any damage taken. The spec on the right prayer, the 42. That is huge for Matt. Can Emoji get one back? A 33 prayer as well. Doing a fantastic job, but the next freeze is going to be absolutely crucial here, isn't it, Tom?
It is indeed. And it seems like Math doesn't actually have Blood Barrage by the looks of it. He only has Ice Barrage, which is kind of questionable. Do you think that he might have forgotten to take Soul Runes into this fight?
I mean, it all comes down to your ability to click the spells, and a lot of it comes down to muscle memory. A lot of these players don't really utilize Blood Barrage, but there you see from CRA getting a 32 Blood Barrage, a percentage of that damage is actually healing him as well, which is giving him the edge he might need. And if it comes down to, you know, a Shark's difference or a couple of HP difference right at the end of these fights, those Blood Barrages really do make the difference.
Hey, it's a tongue twister, man. But yeah, this is looking pretty close. I think that Crab, it looks like Crab has a bit of a clear lead right now. He's only actually eating free food.
Oh, it's Crab. I was saying CRA.
Yeah.
Crab emoji.
The Crab emoji,
oh,
man.
Of course, man. I get the Twitch chat. See you later. Right, looking at inventory supplies right now, both players looking pretty even, I'm not going to lie. 95% spec for Math, and only... Oh, exchanging a few specs there, not hitting too much, and now Crab is out of specs.
But 43 on the right prayer.
That's all it takes. The
wrong prayer.
Those 40s or those 50s, and that's suddenly 2-3 sharks down, and it's pretty hard to come back from that.
The VLS is a savage spec weapon. I mean, it's a little needle, man, and it really gets into your opponent for sure. It's something that you don't want to be on the wrong end of.
No, even without the spec, man, it can still, you know, it's got the accuracy of like an AGS. It's a little bit faster, not quite as strong, but you can still, you know, whack a few 40s here and there, which makes it absolutely adamant that, you know, you keep your distance against your opponent, keep him frozen at all times. And spec coming in here, just a hit rather. 9, not too bad.
And also on top of that, the VLS can also hit like consistent 50s. Obviously, it's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it can still do it. It's definitely more ideal than taking, say, a God Sword, for example. It definitely has more uses. As you can see, I don't think we've even seen a single whip in this tournament so far.
No, because VLS and Stat Hammer are probably better, because if you are able to, you know, DD on your opponent, it doesn't matter how fast or slow your weapon is, if you're hitting hit for hit.
Oh, the 41.
It's just so back and forward right now. Math, you know, taking the lead, then Crab getting a few specs in here, but Math now has 40% spec. He's got almost 2 VLS specs to come back into this fight.
The Armadillo chest plate, I feel like it's doing a fair bit. He just got VLS'd on the wrong prayer there. That's very unfortunate. But, I mean, there's very little difference in this.
He still has food left.
Oh!
Why was he sat so low? And that is a GG member, the Solo Alliance. We've not seen them actually get this far in a while. Making Skill Specs proud as well, who's also part of their team. I'm not too sure why that guy didn't eat there. He was sat on, you know, 30 hit points.
He had free food left.
I know, that was quite a big mistake, costing him, you know, thousands of dollars, to be honest.
I mean, he might just be too busy listening to us criticize him. Maybe we distracted him, dude.
Oh, man.
Poor guy.
We're here to see Luno once again, the Inya himself, one of the most notorious fighters in the game, like I said, mentioned earlier. And he's against Mr. Z. Both players being, of course, maxed levels with very, very good gear. Looks like Z actually has full Armadillo, whereas Luno doesn't quite have the full set, but doesn't need it. Obviously, I mean, the chest plate enough.
But let's not forget, we've not seen Luno lose a single fight. In fact...
Well, none of these guys have lost a single fight and made it this far, haven't they?
No, but we haven't seen the other guy yet. We don't know what he's made of. This Luno guy's epic.
Yeah,
he's smiting. Look at that, man. He knows he's in there for business.
Oh, you say that, and Z retaliating with a smite as well. The VLS stuck on the right prayer, hitting a 28, catching Luno.
Think alike.
Can he get the step under? He can, and now he's going to start to, you know, turn this into a momentum game. That's what it's all about. Catch your opponent off prayer, you start to make them panic. When you start dealing that damage, it can be very hard to keep up your prayers, having to focus on eating and all that kind of stuff all at the same time. But unfortunately for Z, Luno is very experienced as well. Inya catches the freeze back, and he's right back in the fight.
Yeah, it looks like Luno is actually no, he's definitely at advantage in terms of food. He's doing very well. He still has 2 recoil rings opposed to 1 from KUQ.
Yeah, I'll just call him Z.
Z. Oh, my bad.
Man. But again, Z, they're showing that he deserves to be here as well, and it's really anybody's game at the moment. Luno not going down easy without a fight though, trying to catch this freeze, getting the prayers right every single time, and Z just can't get a hit off, unfortunately for him. He needs to come back. He's still got 55% spec compared to Luno's 45%, which is about 2 VLS specs each, and those VLS specs, as we said before, they can hit 50s and such, and 60s if you get lucky enough, and he can just turn the fight around in a split second.
Definitely. I think Z should be taking advantage of the full armadillo at this point. I mean,
absolutely.
He has the DFS, the armadillo crossbow, full armor at this point in the tournament. That magic defense is enormous. Like, he can just be splashed on for days.
Yeah. You say that, but actually, right there, Luno actually caught the freeze instantly on full armadillo, which is very lucky. Is it enough to give him the advantage that he needs? VLS is being exchanged, both players getting their prayer up in time, so not too much DPS being used there. But Z bring up to 115 HP, has 4 sharks left compared to Luno's 5 sharks, 1 Karamwan. So yeah, Luno in a slight advantage, but it could very quickly switch over.
The 30 on the right prey. That's the power of the VLS right there. Oh my goodness. I personally, I'm going to put my money on Luno on this one. He's just dealt almost 90 damage in 2 hits.
Yeah, and
insane.
And once you start, pumping out that damage, your opponent's going to start panicking, trying to, losing momentum as well. Looks like Z only has 2 sharks left. He's doing special. He's got 1 special attack.
The barrage on the full armor.
Again, that was a 25 as well. Huge barrage. Luckily for Z, though, he has caught a barrage back on Luno, so he can't utilize that VLS spec. But he's going to need to hit some big bolts or some big barrages and go on an absolute tear right now and start destroying him, because it looks like he's out of luck, unfortunately, otherwise.
Looks like he's out of prey. No, he's not. He just hasn't got his prey up.
Oh,
the
Luno.
VLS. Oh, and the return of the 21 through the prayer.
Both players just getting their prayer up right on time for that one. And Luno now probably going to finish this one up. Looks like he has 4 food advantage. Z completely out now. His RNG just not being good enough. And Luno showing that you don't need the gear advantage to win. If you've got the skill, you don't have the full armor deal. It doesn't really matter. If you can stay composed and you can get these barrages in perfectly, and you get a bit of good RNG, that's all it comes down to.
Something worth noting about this Luna hybrid right here, like, he is actually phenomenal. If you watch the way that he's fighting, he's more than willing to lose a game tick, and just gain the advantage by able to see what his opponent's going to be doing next.
Yeah.
Like, he's not always consistently attacking just because he's constantly reading his opponent, and he's adapting to their style of hybrid.
Yeah, catching your opponent obviously on the right prayer, or their wrong prayer, sorry, is really crucial in these fights. And Z actually managing to stay alive for so long. And it looks like Luna's actually just taking his time, waiting for that VLS spec. He realizes how important it's going to be when he gets it, but he should win this. He's got 3 food left, huge advantage here. Unfortunately, Z's spec hits a 0 and retaliates with a 46. Inya going through for front line.
A very well-deserved win for Luna there.
Absolutely, that was a really neck-and-neck fight. And
that was impressive.
Now we're into the top 4, aren't we?
We are indeed. So that was the quarterfinals,
finals,
meaning that anyone that took part in that is going to have 1 year's membership.
Hey.
So getting something at the end of the day. But this is where things really hot up, and there will be real money on the line. So, I mean, the skill level, it's just phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the difference now between $20,000 or $10,000 or $1,000. So
yeah,
this is where the pressure really starts to, heat up, and everyone's cooking and thinking, oh man, I better get this right. I better not misclick and switch off my prayers at the wrong time, get VLS whacked, like we saw Reese doing, and beating Apache, another massive name in Deadman mode, who again is a fantastic hybrid too. I'd say right now my money would be, if I had to choose, not that you asked, but I'll tell you anyway.
Tell us, man.
I'd say it's a toss-up between, from what I've seen and who I know, Blazers Reese and Inya. Those two, if those guys make it into the final, I think either one could win.
Dude, my money's on Luno, 100%. Yep. Yeah, that guy's very skilled.
Awesome.
He's really good, man. Like, he's willing to lose ticks just to make sure he can get that extra damage in. Like,
I think
not many people will do that when the fog's ticking down and they're like under pressure like this. That's insane. Yeah,
and also to ensure that he's always got his tank on every single game tick, every 0.6 seconds. He's switching to something else, trying to fake out his opponent. Like you said, reading what his opponent's doing and then adapting his play style to combat that back.
Yeah.
It's a really high level gaming
Very
going
high
on right
level.
now in this
And you
tournament.
can see the difference. It wasn't 5 minutes ago we had guys with bone crossbows and rune 4 caps. Like, you know,
It
we
heats up
came
quickly,
quite
doesn't
far
it?
very fast. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have 2 Blazers going through. So half of the opponents are Blazers. They're standing really strong. Obviously, Fools are completely out. They
Wow.
start with the most members in this tournament, and they are completely
Darn.
out. Which is quite shocking, honestly.
Yeah.
Fools have done incredibly well in
Yeah.
the previous
Yeah,
tournaments.
last tournament I think with the same Tuk 256, they pretty much had mostly them and Blazers right through to the end, but this time round it's a completely different outcome.
Absolutely. No Finnish boat parties today, unfortunately.
Oh, feels bad, man.
And we've got Crab Emoji as well, part of GG.
Yeah. That's sick.
What are your predictions with Crab Emoji? Do you feel like they're going to go
So
through?
I spoke to the GG guys earlier today, and I believe the Solo Alliance, they used to be known as. They started out a few months ago in demo mode, just a bunch of friends that all played, and they were sick and tired of being bullied by all the big clans. So they just joined forces and made their own clan called Gimme Gimme. And this is one of the first times I think getting quite this far. So they must be, absolutely ecstatic. A really nice, kind community they have going on. They had around 40 to 50 people, I think, going into this final. And they did say they were going to try and kit up their best PKer, which this guy must be him.
Yeah, Crab
and
Emoji.
and showing that you never know really like where these PKs are from, and some teams that really go unknown, I guess, up until spotlights like this were able to show their true prowess and true skill. And
It's a good place to make a name for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
So, absolutely. I feel like Crab Emoji has a good chance. And then, of course, we have your favourite, Luno, going through as well,
Yeah.
showing some really incredible skill.
100%, yeah. I mean, God, like he's reading his targets perfectly. Like it's actually phenomenal to watch. Like that guy has true skill. I've not seen anything like that in a while.
No.
Genuinely, I do think that he's probably either going to win or come second, in my opinion.
yeah, I think he'd probably be on the money there, but at the same time, I've not seen some of these guys. I still don't know who WB Wiggler is. I'm not sure if he's Wiggle, the actual Blazers team leader himself, or another guy going by the pseudonym, like someone like Aloe, who won 3 of the 4 demo mode beta tournaments this past week. Maybe Bellis, who's been streaming a lot recently, doing really well. Syed as well. They've got a lot of really top-notch PKs there. Reese, like I mentioned before, he's fantastic as well. He's one of their best hybrids. It's anyone's game, man. It's anyone's game. I know I keep saying it, but it really is.
Is that 07 Rise, by the way?
Yeah, 07 Reese.
Yeah. So he was in Brab, correct?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
I know him. Yeah,
You know him?
yeah, I know.
You got a little bit of squabble going on.
Hey,
as well
he's
in the
gonna
past.
win now, dude. It's his game. He's got it, man. He's already got this, and you can split me that 20k, mate. I'll happily take it. Let's go.
So we'll be going into the semi-finals in a moment, which is where things will be really hotting up. 3rd and 4th place, they'll be taking $1,000 each, and then we'll be moving on to the final, which will be very exciting. So in just a moment, we're going to go and see that. So let's take a look.
Wow, jumping into it, looks like we have a Blazers versus Blazers. The question is, will one of them let the other opponent, whoever they feel in the team is the best, or are they going to give us a fight to watch? Looks like they're going to give us a spectacle. They're going to go at it. That's assuming that, of course, WB is from Blazers as well, which I believe he is. And Reese catching that first barrage and keeping some distance, although saying that straight underneath the DD, trying to get the VLS off, but Wiggler expecting it. These guys have been practicing against each other all week long, I imagine, and for many months before this. They're familiar to each other's PK styles, so it does come down to, the RNG on the day.
As you
And
can
how
see,
they're performing.
in Wiggler's inventory, again, he has 3 recoil rings on him. I don't really know if that's a good thing at this point or not. It's very questionable. It hasn't worked out for people in the past in this tournament. But we shall see, because obviously he is losing a few inventory spots right there. The gear looks relatively matched. They both have VLSs. It's the Armadyl chestplate versus the Armadyl chestplate. Like, the gear is almost identical. The one difference would be the Malediction Ward versus the Mage's Book. The Mage's Book obviously giving more Mage Plus, but the Malediction Ward giving a little bit more tankiness.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know who I'd choose to win this fight, to be honest with you. But I think the recoils definitely are the biggest advantage right now. 25 on the right prep for Reese. Luckily for him, catches the freeze, gets the DD underneath. Staff bashes, but obviously moving forward, despite that happening, both players looking like they've still got some spec left. Reese having 95%, using only 1 VLS, just letting for it to recharge, going for another
There it is,
150
the 50.
on Robes on the right prayer. That was huge for him. Now can Wiggler stay composed, catch a freeze. It's
Another
33.
33. Wow.
I think Reese is catching all of these VLSs. He realizes that when he's close, he's got to be very careful because, again,
Oh,
a
the
58.
58. Oh
all
my-
of these VLSs, mate. To be fair to him, they've
All right.
all been on robes and they've all been on the right press. So, I mean, he's playing it very well, not just getting lucky.
God,
doing
his-
everything right now.
Oh, the flowers have come out. He is not a fan of the DD and under. That is something I like to see. The 0
that's
VLS
unlucky.
on the wrong prey. That's so unfortunate.
And that's where it comes down to, you know, using that tank gear, and Reese doing an absolutely
Another
fantastic
staff
job
bash.
of
Oof.
keeping the tank on all the time. Because Wiggler, the reason why I got hit 50s to 60s, the prayer, that's one thing, but being in robes, your defense bonus is so low.
That was a 45 bolt.
What?
Okay, Rise is, yeah, he's dealing out some damage right now. I feel kind of bad for Wiggler. I'm not. He's just taking a beating.
He really
is
is.
taking a beating right now.
I tell you what I said. I was going to say earlier he had all the recoil advantage, but Reese showing that he's a predominant hybrid right now, and practice goes a long way. I think he's going to secure this win. If he does, he'll get the. Well, they've got the boots, the same boots, so he's going to get just a few more recoils, which would be quite helpful. I doubt he's going to switch out the Mage's Book for the Malediction Ward. Again, catching him a DD. Wiggler being ready for the VLS, but Reese just getting out of range. Perfect play from him there. Looking like he's got 4 sharks versus none. Wiggler's going to have some insane specs, but again on the right
58.
player. 58 again.
His VLS is just.
Dude.
It's been on roids.
The thing
He's
is-
not hit a 0. He's absolutely slaughtering him right now.
Dude.
I feel bad for him. Like he genuinely has just got destroyed.
Another
this
one!
fight.
Another
32
one!
for the KO.
I mean, to be
Blazer
fair,
Rise. What an absolute lucky.
yeah, I mean, Reese is going through now. He's through to the finals. He's secured himself at least $10,000 for Blazers. Quite unfortunate for Blazers having 2 members against each other right there, but they can't be upset about that one. They've secured themselves at least 10K, and now the next fight is a $10,000 difference. So that's pretty huge.
That was
insane.
that was good to watch. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. Even if Reese has got a new name now, Rise. So we saw a little bit of a glimpse of the Mithril Steeds there. Do you want to talk about that tactic?
Right, so like I was saying earlier, with the death dotting, so when you DD on each other, obviously it gives you a second to be able to like change your gear, change your prayers.
Yeah.
So it's like you can get yourself ready. If you're low health, you can eat back up so you're not in a vulnerable spot. You know, and most of the time it's a good idea to move diagonally so you can't get melee, you can't get straight VLS to maybe attack with, say, range, for example. Sorry, what was the question again?
The flowers, the
Oh
Mithril
yeah.
Seeds.
So with the flowers, obviously, it just allows you to like plant a flower and it moves you back. So you're no longer stuck underneath that person. You have more control in that
Yeah.
fight.
So the benefit of the DDing, of course, as well, is that your opponent can't see exactly what you're wielding. They can't see what prayers you've got on, or they find it a bit harder to do so. And you can step out diagonally as well, so they can't melee you. So they've got limited options on what they can do. I think we're going to see that in the final versus Inya and Reese. I think both of them are going to get going for those DDing. That's assuming Inya, makes it through. We don't know yet. We're about to see the last semi-final. But who's he against again?
So it's going to be Luno against Crab Emoji.
Oh, the crab emoji guy, the
crab
GG
emoji
guy.
guy.
So this is again another story of someone that's not really very well known. Used to be a solo player, joined forces with a bunch of friends that he met on the game mode, and now he is here playing live in the semi-finals of the demo tournament. His team must be so happy for him. So
Definitely. And I mean, like all of these 4 players, they've all just walked away with at least
a grand.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least $1,000. So they're all doing pretty well.
Absolutely, and the pressure is definitely on. I mean, we saw a staff bash in the last one. Obviously, these things can happen.
Yeah,
It's
a couple of
absolutely,
them,
it's
yeah.
gutting, isn't it?
But it didn't matter. I mean, Reese staff bashed, I think, twice right there. But despite that, he kept composed and he just took it on the chin and kept PKing like an absolute monster, as you described
Fucking
it.
60s
And every
time, dude.
single spec was a 58. Like, geez, the RNG. I bet he was wishing, like, why couldn't that happen in the final if he doesn't end up winning it? But
Yeah, that's some really,
was
really
good.
phenomenal stuff. So in a moment, obviously, we're going to see Crab Emoji and Luno. What's your prediction?
You know what I think. I think Luno's got this. From what I've seen, I think, yeah, Luno's where my money would be.
I don't think you should count Reese out just yet. And the crab emoji boy, I personally hope he puts up a very, very good fight at the very least.
Well, we're about to see. Let's take a look.
Oh, Luno versus Crab. The inventories are relatively similar. The only difference I can really see, the big one there, is Luno has the full Armadillo. Again, that's going to give a huge magic defense. Those barrages, this guy is going to be completely... He's just going to be very... What's the word? You're not going to be able to... He's going to be greasy. Like, you're not going to be able to catch a freeze on
You're
this
going to be slipping, splashing all over the way, not being able to catch a freeze, like you say. And Luno as well, having the boots too for more mage defense, more mage attack. Emoji going in for the prayer. I think he called it on the wrong prayer there, and Luna got the pray melee up right in time. And he's opting for the DD strategy once again. Unfortunately for Crab-Emoji, he does not have the flowers. Another 26 VLS. Luna just sticking in the VLS as best he can. But Crab-Emoji going to have to catch this freeze here if he's able to, getting the prayers wrong. But catching the freeze on full Armadillo, that was huge. Going for a VLS, faking it, 23 bolt, that was beautiful as well. Catching another freeze in the right prayer against Luno, stepping under, and now turning the fight around. Luno, knowing that he was frozen, he got the premium up just in time there for him.
Crab is bringing this back for that kind of start. He actually seems to be doing quite well. He's actually winning right now, quite significantly on food. It looks like Luno's used 5 food, whereas Crab's only used the 2. The free now. He has a food advantage, although he's just picked some food back up.
And that can turn around so quickly. All it's going to take is a couple of those 58 VLSs that we saw in the last fight. But Crab trying to stay composed, catching the freeze, but getting a 33, a 17 again on prayer. Luno is so great with those VLS, the VLS prey melees, getting up in time perfectly. And Crab-Emoji taking his time, eating up, trying to catch another freeze. And Luno with the 11, that was on the right prayer on Robes. That could have been a 60, couldn't it?
That could have. That could have almost KO'd him right there. And it's interesting, at this point into this tournament, like, you're not really going to see anything aside from this kind of gear setup. Right now, this is the best. Also, I don't think there's a tank remaining. I think it's all hybrids.
Yep, all tribals. I think even the top 8 might have been pretty much all tribals this time around, which was quite surprising.
That's awesome.
It's lovely to see.
Do you know what it probably comes down to? Obviously, these guys haven't had to sweat out for the last week. They've come into this fresh. And I think it's like your mental. It's like, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen? And it's dying to a dude that doesn't even have freezes.
Yeah, when you start to lose against some of those guys, it's very hard to stay composed and to keep your hopes up and your morale high. But Crab-Emoji not out of this one yet, catching the freeze on the Armadillo, getting the DD and starting to take control of this fight once again. He's out of spec, unfortunately. In the last couple of specs he hit, didn't quite hit and high enough. He got 1 hit on the right prayer as well, but hit like a 0 or something. Luno still has 1 spec left. Is he going to use it here? He does.
He does.
On the
41.
41.
My man. But, I think he might have this. I'm not entirely sure. I think this could go either way. I mean, the full Armadillo is incredibly fierce. That's something that I don't like going up against. Like, try catching a freeze on that.
True. But at the same time, I think Crab-Emoji's freezes have been very lucky up until this moment when he just splashed 3 times in a row. But up until then, he was catching some beautiful freezes. And now he's got to, try and get the prayers right and try and just to predict what his opponent's going to do and try and catch that freeze back. But that's a big bolt. 27 on the right prayer as well. On the Robes. Luno a 30
barrage
to follow it up with again. And now he's just going to start steamrolling Crab unless Crab can catch that beautiful freeze.
Oh, the staff bash.
He has to get underneath. He has to get underneath. Can he DD under? Perfect. Unfortunately freezing. And I mean, looking at food right now, Crab is completely out of food at 85 hit points compared to Luno. He has around 180 or 200 HP altogether with all his food in his inventory as well. So he's got quite a significant advantage.
He's got 5 edibles and a sip of brew.
Oh, he's got the sip of brew as well. Yes, he's looking like
Crab is completely out
pretty
at
much
this point.
Pretty much double the inventory. But
this is going to be, if Crab can bring this back, this is going to be a miracle.
That freeze right there for Crab was crucial because both players have that VLS spec, and if you catch your opponent off prayer, it's going to be, huge. That's the difference that it can make. Both players now trying to utilize as well the soul runes, the blood barrage to heal up because every little damage counts and it makes a big difference.
The 23 through the prayer range, very unfortunate. The 31 through the right prayer.
That was
Luno.
I mean, if Emoji can catch this freeze here, it's perfect timing. If he can catch the freeze and get underneath, will he be able to? Being whacked, 0 on the right prayer.
I think Luno's got this, man. He still has 3 edibles and a brew sip.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what noise that was I made either. Luno, I think, looks like he's secured this one, catching Crab-Emoji here. But at the same time, he's got 1 little prayer potion left, 1 dose left, catching the redemption. But now he's got no prayer left if he uses another redemption. He's got to be careful here. He's on 27 hit points. The whack could kill him.
Crab has a VLS spec. He does have a VLS spec, and it hits a 19 on the wrong prayer.
I mean, he had to just go for it at that point and hope that Luno changes prayers, but Luno's now on 90 hit points with the brew. Crab-Emoji is on 15. He's 1 hit away from losing, a difference between $1,000 and $10,000 to $20,000. But it could still happen, man. I've seen it happen before, although saying that, Luno has a spec with a VLS, and it's probably going to finish him off.
Oh, never mind.
The bolt does.
Takes him out with a 39 bolt.
Hey, respect from GG, he says, as he falls, though. Huge respect there. And now we have Inya representing Lit and Frontline going through to the finals to fight out Reese, one of the Blazers members. Wow, absolute scenes. That was fantastic to see.
Was that a fair fight? Let's talk about it.
Definitely, yeah. They both had like pretty much matched gear. They both seemed like a very high standard of hybrid in terms of skill. Yeah, it was a good fight. for sure, yeah.
I think he definitely did his team proud as well. GG. I think it's one of the first times, I might be wrong there, one of the first times that he's taken home money, secured a win. So they must be really happy. I don't know what they use the money for yet. I'll have to find out. Maybe I don't know if you can get a cruise for $1,000, but you never know.
Maybe like to Grimsby or something.
Sounds like a great cruise.
Hey man, they could go canoeing on the weekend or something. They can have some fun. It'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still thousands.
Yeah, absolutely. And the skill level is just through the roof at the moment. We saw some craft use of redemption and things there as well. Tell us about that prayer.
Okay,
Someone who's newer to RuneScape.
Yeah, so the little blue heart prayer, which is pretty cute, that you put up when you're low hit points, once you're out of food. Basically, it drains your prayer points that you have remaining and heals you for a portion of your hit points. Not very much, we're talking like 20 or so hit points, but it can keep you alive when you otherwise would have died and can make the difference. A lot of these fights do have come down to, you know, those redemption flicks, getting on the perfect timing when your opponent hits you. And if you do manage to survive it and get under, I think it's 10% HP or 20%?
It's under 10%.
10% HP, so under 10 hit points, if you're able to flick it on that perfect moment, then it can definitely save your life and bring you back into the fight.
But it's incredibly risky.
It is very risky, because you take your prayer off for a second. And
high risk, high reward, I guess.
Exactly that, yeah.
But then
like to say.
People have came back from doing that. Like there have been huge comebacks for people using that method, so it works.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
As we predicted, we were talking earlier about these two absolute machines going at it. Reese, representing Blazers, who came second place last time. Manked up Mage taking it for them. Unfortunately, Manked went down a few of the rounds ago. And we have Inya, who I believe is rocking with Lit. We've not really talked about much this tournament.
Potentially frontline, potentially Lit.
Okay, I believe that most likely he got into the multi-phase through playing with Lit, who probably let him in, or he snuck in somehow, because that multi-phase is so deadly. And so maybe he's giving a split to Lit as well, who we haven't actually seen much about during this tournament or spoken much about. But either way, two massive titans going at it right now, and both secured themselves at least $10,000. But this fight is still a $10,000 difference for first place. So it really, really does matter, and I'd be shaking like crazy right now.
It's a lot of money, yeah, for sure. But they've got at the very least 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're winning.
And Blazers
Blazers
last time round as well, they took home the second place, like I said. Mank took home $10,000. So from this DM tournament, they'll be taking home at least 20,000. So I'm sure they're very happy about that one as well.
Absolutely. So what do you want to see from this fight?
I want to see Reese continue with the 58 VLSs on the right prayers, but I think it'll be hard for him to catch Inya off prayer. That guy is so quick on the sticks of getting that prayer melee up. I think it's going to be a really neck and neck fight, and I think it's going to come down to the wire. Again, we might see a few of those redemption flicks that we just talked about, but
absolutely,
who knows?
The VLS it's proven to be just an incredible tool.
Yeah.
It can really cause some damage.
Oh man, I'm so glad they added it to the tournament as well, because it makes for these really awesome, spicy moments where you're just like, you think someone's won, and then suddenly you get a few big hits to the forehead, and bam.
I mean, it's such a game changer. Like, it doesn't matter how much food you're up. It's like if you get poked 50-50, it's like, whoa, chill, dude.
That's half your food gone, yeah.
Like, I need to brew up here in a minute, man. Like, just leave me alone, you know. So
What about you, Rexy? What do you want to see from this final?
I want to see, to be honest with you, I'd love to see a VLS KO, an unexpected.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see something crazy. Maybe a VLS into the Gmaul. It's not going to happen, but I'd like to see it. But no, I'd like to see a very high VLS KO. That's what I want.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we could potentially see it. There's a lot of things that could come up. Maybe some more flowers, some more mithril seeds, bit of gardening midway through. Yeah! Woo!
That's what the demo is all about.
Good old farming. Good old-fashioned farming, absolutely. So we're going to see, obviously, Blazers Reese in a second and Luno fighting it out to win that $20,000. Second place obviously gets $10,000, so it's not to be sniffed at, and it's going to be very exciting. So just a second before that, and I believe we're ready to go. So let's take a look.
All right, jumping into the mix with Blazers Reese versus Luno in the demo mode rerun. Final, $10,000 for second place, $20,000 for first. It all comes down to this. Reese going for the freeze. Is he able to catch him? Unfortunately not. And Luno catching the freeze.
Luno, my man.
Being able to step underneath now and start taking control of this fight. Reese needs to remain calm, try and catch that freeze, but he's unable to even get the click off. Fighting someone like this, you must be a little bit worried about it.
Yeah, the full armadillo. This is why I'm in Luno's corner, man. Like, I know that he just got frozen,
Dude,
but
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what? again, Reese comes out of the VLS spec, and Luno was just so on point with that Prey melee. It was one tick, he just guessed he was going to VLS, and he got it right, and as a result, got hit a 0. But Reese still in it, hitting a 34 whack, which is huge. A 24 again, Luno got his Prey melee up every single time.
Luno's on 100% spec right now. He needs to unload some of his... Oh, there it is! The 53. Come on, do another. Oh, the 0.
Reese got the prayer on perfectly there, catching a freeze as well. Another VLS coming in again, Luno getting that Prey melee up just in time. It's looking pretty even, although I would say that Reese has a slight advantage in terms of DPS, and getting those blood barrages off too, perfectly getting underneath him, and he's just going an absolute rampage right now. The RNG is definitely on his side. If he can keep this up, it's 17 again with the right prayer. A bolt fakey on the 38. Right. Luno needs to catch a freeze, needs to send some of those specs out. He's got 2 specs ready. Can he manage to turn this fight around?
I mean, at this point, this is the final. These guys are both clearly very, very good hybrids. Reese, I'm saying his name right, he hasn't even eaten a food. Look at that.
Wait, what?
He's not eating a food.
No, he probably has, I think. Wait, has he?
No, he's not. He's got a full inventory of food.
But has he picked them up off the floor, or is he actually not eating any food and just used blood barrages to heal himself back up again? If he has, then I think this one's in the bag for him, because looking at Luno right now, he only has 4 food remaining compared to Reese's at least double supplies. But Luno trying to go for the VLS and Reese very smartly going out.
Step.
Yeah, the diagonal steps so that Luno could not melee, and he was not anticipating that. Again, stepping out just enough so Luno cannot go for the VLS spec. And Reese, 49 on the right spec. This is what it's all about, man. Like I was saying earlier, the momentum, once you start to get that advantage, start hitting hits off on the right prayer, it can be very hard to, remain composed. And with $10,000 difference on the line, looks like the pressure is slightly getting to Luno right now.
I was not expecting this. Luna's done incredibly well this entire tournament. I mean, they both have, but he's eaten 2 food.
I mean, part of it is obviously the fact that Reese has gotten quite lucky with some of his RNG, I suppose. It is an RNG-based game. But at the same time, to win by this much food advantage goes to show that even though we think there's a high skill ceiling, there's still room to improve so much more. And there's a step up above that and above that again.
Yes.
And Reese right now, for Blazers, trying to secure himself $20,000 grand prize. Luno getting the redemption up just in time, but is it enough? Doesn't look like it will be. Reese with another barrage on the right prayer, but Luno's double armor deal doing a lot to help him right now. He's not even hitting back, really.
No, it's not even close at this point. He's eating free food. This is actually insane.
Managed to catch a freeze, though, and I mean, he's not out just yet. That should have been dead for him. I mean, he's out. He's on 14 hit points. Let's be real now.
All Reese had to do there was just sit at max HP. Congratulations, Reese.
For Blazers, man. Taking home $20,000 with $10,000 from the last one as well. Blazers must be a very happy squad right now. Celebrating in the team speak, I'm sure. Although saying that, Luno taking home $10,000. Maybe splitting with Lit and maybe with Frontline. I'm not too sure exactly. And that was Bellis, actually. That was on Blazers Reese. I thought it was going to be Reese. Did he just say Bellis in game?
Yeah, he did. He said Bellis.
He just tagged his Twitter name. Oh, wow.
Incredible. That was a final. That was so impressive.
That was, yeah.
I was expecting Luno to go further, honestly. Considering his performance up to this point, I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, you must be devastated.
Yeah. I'm just like, what just happened? He was doing really well. And I don't feel like he necessarily played that poorly or anything like that. Like, God, that happened so fast. He barely had any food. Like, was that just bad RNG on his behalf?
Yeah,
I feel like
what went wrong?
So, partly yes. Blazers Reese or Bellis, not too sure who was on the account or who that person is. Maybe he's changed his name to, like, try and be inconspicuous, all that kind of stuff. At the start, he caught the freezes, he got a few big specs off, and it's all about that momentum in tri-breeding. Once you start to get that advantage, start catching your opponent off prayer, it can be very hard to, remain calm, especially when you've got so much money on the line as well.
Yeah.
And once you start to, steamroll your opponent, it's like an avalanche, it starts to pick up speed and more power, and he just ran with it, and goes to show that, he was definitely the better hybrid there.
Because Luno won the 2018 Deadman, so you think that, he'd be a little bit used to the pressure, but things just clearly went wrong, and sometimes it is down to the RNG, it's down to the hits, and clearly it just didn't happen. But
I mean, there's no doubt in that those two, the two
some of the
finalists
best in the
there
game,
were
are
some
they?
of the best. Yeah, like they were clearly, like they outclassed so many people in this tournament. I mean, yeah, sometimes it just rolls like that. That's RNG for you.
Yeah, I'm very happy for Bellis as well if that was indeed him for winning, because he's just started live streaming recently. He was saying how names are made in these tournaments, people who aren't very well known, and Bellis showing that he's one to watch in the future for upcoming tournaments, which we should probably mention as well.
Absolutely. So there is one coming up in a couple of weeks, which is the Summer Deadman Final. It'll be starting on Saturday, the 29th of June at 8 p.m. BST. I'm personally going to be playing in it, so I'm very excited. I'll be the next winner.
Hopefully not back into the hopefully not back to the drain or mana for you.
Look, let's not talk about
I'll bring it up. And of course, the next tier tournament as well will include the multi-phase, so we get to see all the clans fighting it out, all those massive barrage clumps and chinchompas, those poor things being thrown left and right, millions killed in the carnage that ensues. But it should be one to watch. So mark in your calendars, 2 weeks from now, 29th. And I look forward to that one as well.
Absolutely. And just before we do move on and take a look at that, I want to talk about, obviously, we were talking about tanking versus tribriding.
Yeah.
I mean, you're quite an advocate for the tank, right? That's your favourite.
No, quite the opposite.
No.
Yeah, I much prefer hybrid into tanks.
I thought you liked the stand and keep it simple approach.
No, did you not hear me the entire time? I was like, I want him to lose. Like, no, it's just...
He doesn't like the DD. I think that's cowardly, don't you?
I'm sorry, but like, back when I used to PK back in the day, it's like, if you were tanking in a fight, in a war, you did something to upset the leader. Like, that was punishment, okay?
Yeah,
like, you only got the hybrid if you were doing good that
Yeah.
week. So, no, it's just, you just sit there and it's like you got the most simplistic clicks. It's just not fun. Like, yeah, it might be optimal in some ways, but
I mean,
I
today...
don't feel like it takes as much skill as what it does to be a tribrid hybrid.
And I mean,
hybrid.
today, going to show, like in previous DMM iterations and finales, we've commonly seen the tanks getting really far. And a lot of people complain about it, saying, oh, you know, tanks broken, all this kind of stuff. But today we saw, I think, in the top 8, maybe most of the top 16 even, all had those tribrid setups, and they all, you know, beat tanks to get there. We saw Eomeri, the last winner of the demo tournament, losing. And I think what it comes down to, like we said earlier, is that whole week building up to it, you're kind of exhausted. You're playing 20 plus hours a day for a lot of these people, being woken up at midnight because invaders have come to Shiloh Cave and you've got to get online quickly. So
I mean, something to bear in mind, it's like, you know, if you are playing in this and you've just played for 7 days in a row, like you've not changed your clothes, you've been in the same joggers, the same shirt for 7 days, like you're stinking. And then all of a sudden, like
I told you that in confidence.
You're up against a dude in full DH with the Thorax helm, the VLS, the DFS, and he's just whacking you. Like, you're just, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not going to make you, it's not going to put you in a good mood, is it?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's just whacking it out,
I'd be the
DPSing
same.
you, and it's like,
you just give up. You just sit there like, oh, I just
it's
can't do it, man.
demoralizing, you know?
Definitely.
It's not fair. Like, it shouldn't be allowed. Why is it allowed? It shouldn't be.
I feel like we're digging up some real emotions here.
Did you by any chance lose to a tank in a finale in the previous demo mode?
No, I died at Mage Bank once.
Oh, did you?
Rot's leader, in fact. Brian
Really?
289, yeah.
Did you have a Venge combo or something and stacked you out?
Oh, dude, I think he Virak flailed me to death, man.
Nah, not the Verax flail. Oh,
Oh, it was
dear.
bad.
Well,
It
they've
was
actually,
bad.
that's why they nerfed the Rex flail, because the tail of Rakesy in previous...
No, actually, no, sorry, I wasn't that bad. No, he AGS'd me.
Oh,
But yeah, he was in Virak, so I was very upset.
Fair play. Well,
Yeah.
So obviously with the summer Deadman coming up, what kind of strategies are you expecting to see throughout the week? As you said, not a lot of sleep. What would be your first go-to, day one? That's always my favourite part of Deadman mode, the day one, because there's just so much going on, there's so much to play for.
Yeah,
What
I
would you
mean,
do?
a lot of people go, like, if you want to really take it seriously, it's like, I feel like the melee route is a must. Or either the melee route or Rush Desert Treasure, because like as soon as clans start to camp that down, it's just a no-go. Like you don't want to go do Desert Treasure on like one of the final days because you're just going to be getting camped, you know? And it's very difficult to complete.
Absolutely.
yeah. Having played, like I said before, every other tournament up until this one coming up, this is the first tournament I'm not going to partake in. I'm just chilling. I don't want to be staying up 20 hours a day for the last one. I just want to enjoy it and enjoy the casting as well. But I think a lot of the teams are going to be locking down content again, like they did last time. We saw Shiloh Village camped, Shiloh Cave camped. It's going to be the last Deadman mode of its kind for a while. Beyond this next one, and in 2 weeks' time, they're going to put it on hiatus.
Yeah.
Invest a lot of development time, I believe, and just completely restructure the entire game mode to make it fresh, unique, and most importantly, enjoyable again for all the players that have played it for numerous years now. I don't know what crazy strategies we're going to see next time round, but they never cease to amaze me what the players and the clans come up with.
Well,
it is incredibly interesting.
Hopefully, when it comes back, like it will be unpredictable. I feel like, you know, we've had almost the same thing from Deadman mode now for quite a while. Not a lot has changed. It's become a little bit predictable. It's like I was saying to you before we were doing this. It's like, you know, when you do Deadman mode tournament, it's more or less like 7 days there's like an unwritten, unsaid treaty between like most people, which is
Yeah.
like, I will not mess with you if you don't mess with me, kind of thing. And then it's like when it comes down to the final hour and you can attack people in the grand exchange or whatever.
All
people
that
should
clan man
be-
mode, all those alliances
Yeah.
go down the drain.
People should just be slaughtering each other, but instead of that, people just clumping together and
Yeah.
going towards, you know,
And trying to
GDs
stay
or
alive
going
as-
towards Falador.
as long
It's
as they
not
can.
predictable.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
something needs to change.
This So is then, this is why they're taking it out, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the next
we'll see
iterations
some.
to come are going to be awesome.
Yeah, we'll see some updates. It'll be very exciting. Well, I have a little bit of an update. So both finalists have been checked by anti-cheating accounts, and the accounts are completely clean. So Blazer Reese, he will be the confirmed winner, taking home $20,000. And of course, Luno taking home that $10,000. Sorry, $10,000 himself. So it's very impressive. So it's congratulations to both of them. And of course, like I said before, the Summer Deadman final will be on Saturday, the 29th of June. So if you are in the Invitational, then make sure you do play. It's going to be great. And the tournament worlds are going to be getting reopened as well, so that people can practice, which I personally love. Tournament worlds are freaking great. So thank you very much for watching this tournament. It's been phenomenal. And appreciate Jairix for popping it on. It's been fantastic, and having me here as well.
Everyone in the Twitch chat for coming out, supporting, chucking all your crab emojis or whatever you've been spamming in the Twitch chat today. No crab emojis, hopefully.
We've not seen the chat at all.
No, we
like,
haven't.
we block the chat.
We asked not to see it because we were too nervous. Also to the guys in the office, of course, as well. Rock, Bruno, we have Shed, we have Sven, I was Stephen, but you told me to call you Sven, and JD on social as well, and I think some guys upstairs, Ed I believe is here as well, so shout out to all those guys for making this possible. Usually gets held at ESL, first time in a while we've been at Jagex again, and it's been a really smooth tournament, I think, so thank you everyone.
It's been phenomenal.
For us again.
It's been absolutely grand, and it's been lovely to have us here. Any last words, Rexy?
Thanks for having me. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope I didn't make too much of a tit of myself, to be honest. I hope it went well.
You did a great job for your first time.
Awesome.
Well, we'll see you guys in the Summer Deadman final, but from all of us, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.